Oh man. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Talk with the Titans. Tonight's show, yeah, we've got a hot show for you guys in store. It's going to be a carry on of the Trinity versus Tawheed debate. Okay, this, of course, we're talking about, some people would say an epic debate between Dr. David Wood and Brother Muhammad Hijab. Okay, so we're gonna follow on from there. We're gonna follow on from there. If you missed out last show, that was yesterday's show. It was very good, very informative. We had my appraisal of the event itself. Then we had our panel members have come on, who've been watching Speakers Corner, been watching David Wood, been watching Muhammad Hijab for quite some time now. They've came on, they've given their own fair appraisal of the debate itself, which was really good. We had Muslims, we had Christians, we had non-religious people coming in, weighing in on the debate itself. So if you haven't checked it out, please go there and check it out itself. Afterwards, we opened it up to the audience members to choose a topic from the debate. Okay, one of the argumentations, one of the questions that was given, and we opened it up, right? And yesterday we spoke about the Trinity. Can we see any evidence or direct mentions or inferences of the Trinity within inside of the Old Testament? We done a very awesome job on that. We almost took some shahadas from some Muslims to say that they bear witness to the truth of the Trinity. So that was quite awesome. So if you haven't checked it out, please go over there, check it out, and see how it is, and let us know what you think about it. Of course, there was the second part, which was to talk about Salah. That is, Allah actually doing Salah for or on Muhammad, peace be upon him and his family. So we're going to see if we could possibly carry on the discussion, or we can take it wherever you guys want to go. So I don't have much time on here, right? I don't have much time on here. What I will do is open it up, share the link with you guys, and of course, I would love for you guys to jump on and create the show, baby. Create the show, okay? But I'm going to warn you guys, I'm not here for long. If you lot are nice and you're good and you're hitting us up with some tagging of Titans TV, okay, we want to see it highlighting right now. We want to see it highlight. So if you have some great crowd interaction and participation, I may just continue the show whilst I'm actually going out. I'm actually going out, so I won't be here for that long. But I may just leave the laptop running and you guys can just do your thing on here. So we shall soon see. Okay, we shall soon see. So the link has been sent out. Right now, it feels as though I'm monologuing. Oh yeah, so if some of you guys might be subscribing for the first time. So if you're new to Titans TV, we have a host of shows. You can go back and check our archives for Speakers Corner. You can also check out Titans TV or Talk with the Titans, should I say, archives, where we can find great conversations, lectures, and discussions from people all the way in Americas, right? All the way to Africa, all the way throughout Europe and Australia, have come onto the show to either give a lecture, an interview, or discussing several topics, whether it's race, religion, society, relationships, philosophy. I don't even know. There is so much stuff that we've spoken about. It's helped me as a person to actually grow and blossom and kind of hear and feel what people are thinking, and having the vantage to just gain sight, some influence, gain insight into a vast diverse array of people's minds, and just knowing what is actually out there and what people are actually thinking. So if you want to get into the minds of of some great titans and some great influential people, please go and check out the archives. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. But right now, let's jump into this, right? Let's jump into this. You already know all you need to do is simply type Titans TV. No, yeah, type Titans TV if you want to get my attention. But if you want to come on the panel, the link is actually sent out. All right, let me know if that link works. If that doesn't work, simply message me via Google Hangouts. Okay, message me via Google Hangouts, and I will sure to send you the link via Google Hangouts. You should find me on Google Hangouts as Titans TV. Is that easy? And yeah, that's it. That's it. So let's see. Let's see. So I'm seeing you guys. You're up in here. We've got 17 likes right about now with over 85 people tuned in. Let's see who can up that. Have you read African Anarchism by Sam Mba? No, I haven't. I'm an Afro man. I know you're on your anarchism, but I haven't. I haven't yet. Maybe that's something that I need to get into, but we shall soon see. So we got Andy High up in the building with us. What's good, Andy? Okay, Andy, let me know if you're there. And also, if you can't speak right now, just mute your mic out. So I'll mute your mic out for you. All right. So your mic has been muted. I thought it had been muted. Mute you again. All right. So yeah, family tree. Waiting for you guys to join us. All right. Ibo Queen. Hey. Ibo Queen. Hey. Oh man. Love that. Okay. Yeah, come on, family. Where you guys at? Where you guys at? Am I just gonna be the only person here? I should actually debate, I should debate the Trinity and Tawheed with myself, right? Who wants to see that? That would be absolutely awesome. Just me going back and forth with myself. All right. So it seems like you lot are not trying to jump in, like so I can go and do what I need to do with myself, right? All right, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So yeah, we're still waiting. Let's see. Talk to me, family tree. So what's your guys' opinion? What's your thoughts on the debate? Who you rolling with? Who do you think actually won this debate? Was it Mohammed Hijab or was it David Wood? Tag one for Hijab and two for Wood. One for Hijab and two for Wood. This sounds so wrong, you know. That goddamn, your mind is moving mad bookie, G. All right. Did you say the spirit came before creation, Yogi B? Of course. But of course. Wow, Chris, 2.5 billion Christian, you went one for hijab. Wow, okay, that's cool. And then everybody else is saying two for wood and the three for saying, God damn, that was a shambles. Well organized lie. Yeah, well organized lie defeats a disorganized truth every time. Ooh, wee. Hey, Times TV, that link does not work properly, just like the issue you had on Tuesday. Oh, man. Okay. Ooh. Okay, family, if it's not actually working, please, there you go. I was about to say, just drop me your email address inside of the comment section and I'll add you in straight away, which I'm going to do right now for my brother, Rob. Speaker's Corner, UK. If you haven't checked him out, go there. Atheist. Yeah. Okay, I'm sure God created the heavens and earth before the spirit was mentioned. Nah, buddy. There was no heavens and earth created at this point. It was just the spirit of the Lord hovering over the face of the deep or the face of the waters, whichever way. This is prior to creation, prior to God saying, let there be this and let there be that, according to the Genesis or the Bereshith mythologies or mythos. All right. So right now I'm just waiting in to see what you guys got to say. We're going to have more Titans jumping in. So far, we've got one mighty Titan, Speakers Corner UK. Rob, please introduce yourself to the family.
Good evening, family. Good evening. Kalam, how are you guys doing?
I'm good. It sounds like you've just got the babies to sleep and you're trying to be as quiet as possible.
I am a little, so you might need to just hit the volume there. I might
Mm,
get a bit more animated later, but certainly you can hit the volume there. That'll help, so I can keep it a bit lower.
jeez. All right. All right, let me shout out to Hawaii, y'all. Sophia Films up in the building, Rich LK, as well as Narujan. What's good, family? I see y'all up in there. So yeah, if the link is not working, family, okay, you know what you need to do. Just simply drop your email address and I can add you directly, okay? So just put your email address inside of the comment section right now, real quickly. I'll copy it and I will add you straight away. Have you heard of the Essen people? Nope, I don't think I have. Yeah, family. So we're still waiting for more people to actually arrive. Okay. Never takes this long, really. Never does. I don't know if I start saying some real controversial stuff, right, is going to really rub you guys up the wrong way. I wonder, should I do that? So we're still waiting, family. We're still waiting.
Go on, Kalam.
Oh
Do something
man.
controversial, my man.
Oh man. I'm trying to stay out of trouble though. That's the wickedest. I'm trying my best. Okay. So let's just see. Let me actually go back up and see who I can rub up the wrong way. Let's see who is actually winning the debate. I'll just go on the opposite side. So I said one for hijab and two for wood. Let's see what there was. So wood seems as though was winning. All right. So let me rub up Christians the wrong way then. Let's see. Hmm. Okay. So David Wood. Let me just see. So the defense of the Trinity. I personally think his defense of the Trinity was strong. Okay. So I can't say anything bad about that. But his attack on Tawheed, that was a shambles. That was an absolute shambles. I want to know, did you grasp, actually, what was the definition he gave for the Tawheed? Do you know Speaker's Corner?
I didn't actually watch the whole of it, unfortunately.
Hmm.
Or fortunately, I don't know. To me, it's partly two people arguing about, from my point of view, mythical beliefs. So I didn't pay as much attention. I did, however, catch little bits here and there, and so I can't really speak to the content. What I can say is that I guess I was disappointed, but not surprised by hijab's behavior, and I think that's probably the biggest turning point. So or talking point for me. So I can't really talk as to the contents because I didn't hear enough of it. But it was disappointing with hijab's behavior, but not unexpected because I've seen him do that elsewhere, both at the park and at other debates.
Yeah. The first time I saw him act a fool was the Jay Smith debate. Do you remember that Jay Smith debate? He's wearing like a
Oh, was that
pink,
at the park where he had the pink like
yeah,
vest
tank
on?
top. Yeah.
He's acting a bit of a fool. Um, yeah, it surprises me that people, take him seriously. To one degree, I sort of think he's partly a troll because he goes there and makes ridiculous statements. It's almost as if he's testing people to see if they're going to pick up on it. It's like me going down there and making a logical fallacy just to see if people are going to pick it up or not. So, you know, and in his discussions with Phil and so forth, I mean, you know, a lot of them down there, and it's different with the debate, but a lot of them in Speaker's Corner feel like they have to respond, even if they don't know what they're talking about, to make it appear as if, they've got something intelligent to say on camera. Whether they're in fact dealing with the topic or not, they've got to open their mouth and some words have got to come out instead of going, hey, do you know what? I'm not an expert on that. I'll have to go away and look at it. You should just never hear that.
Mm, truth. True stories. That's right. All right. So, family, we're still waiting for you guys to jump on in. What's going on? I don't understand. Okay. What's popping, baby? What's popping? Yeah. So, let me know. Okay. So, if we've got any Christians up in here, can we just type in a number one? Can we type in a number one? If we've got some Muslims in here, can we type in a number two? Number two? And if we've got non believers who don't believe in anything, can we get some number threes?
That's number three, brother. Number three. What I'd like to ask the Christians, and sorry, the Muslims, is what makes it impossible for there to be only one God? Because somebody sent me a video and on why he thought there'd be only one God, or why only one God is possible. And it obviously depends what you mean by God. But I found that utterly unconvincing. It was just one assertion after another. And I think some people think if they assert something and then add additional assertions, that sort of backs up the first assertion. And of course, that's not true. So I'm waiting to hear from a Muslim if they can. Why is it impossible? I mean, if it's unlikely, you can make your argument. That's fair enough. But if you're going to say it's impossible for there to be more than one God, you need to give me the logical reasons why it's impossible rather than unlikely.
Hmm. I like that. I actually like that. I like that. So yeah, for real. Why not two gods, for example? We always talk about creation and so forth, but most things, okay, needs a mother and a father. We need, the two opposing forces for a third or fourth or fifth thing to come into existence. So why do we just need one? Hmm.
I think one of the reasons what I hear from them is it's almost like in a sense, anthropomorphizing or at least giving human characteristics. No, they can't do this because there'd be an argument. It would eventually lead to, disagreement. Well, how do you know that's the case? If these are gods, why would it lead to disagreement? You've got to give me a very strong case for why it would be impossible for them to agree eternally. And I'd be interested to hear that.
I like that. I like that. I like that. That just tells you the state of certain people's relationships. They're like, nope, it's impossible. Definitely, if it's a male god and a female god, there's always going to be fighting and bickering. All right, cool. What if there's two female gods?
Well, if you think about, if we go to the comic books, I don't know if you've seen Green Lantern, but they've got these creatures called the Eternals that sort of float around. There's about 9 of them, and they all are like the most powerful, or one of the most powerful beings in the universe. I think they might have created the universe. They've lived eternally, and they sort of make decisions as a group. And so explain to me why that's impossible for a god.
Ooh, the council. The council. Them times that they just huddle up in a circle, mentally just transmitting information. We've come to a decision. Easy. All right, we got Jesna up in the building with us right now. Or was it Jarina? No, yeah, Jesna. What's good? Peace to you,
I'm
Queen.
fine. I'm fine. How are you?
Oh man, I'm well.
Okay, calm. So is it we just mainly talking about Tawheed in general, or is it the debate between Muhammad Hijab and, because I wasn't here the first half.
Yeah, we're talking in general. So wherever you want
Calm.
to add to it.
I just want to say, like, I'm not trying to be biased or anything, but the argument between the Trinity and Tawheed, obviously, when you sort of put it down, the Tawheed's a bit more straight forward thinking compared to the Trinity. Trinity is something a bit more, I don't know, there's more to it. There's more like things that you can say about it. And I think that's probably why. But if you come to the story of Jesus Christ in the Quran, or like in the Bible, I think the story of Jesus Christ within the Bible wins. So if you brought Muhammad Hijab and you made him debate about something else, I don't think he would win. But I think he kind of had an advantage in general with the Tawheed. If you get what I'm trying to say.
I hear you. I would even argue and say that the Tawheed is more complex or complicated than Trinity, to be fair. More
But the
complex or
Tawheed,
complicated than Trinity, to be fair. Okay, can I get you guys to mute
is
your
it?
mic?
How?
And sorry, you got more moving parts in the Trinity. Sorry, in the Tawheed than you do in the Trinity. Trinity, you've got like 3, and then you have to understand that they're unified, i.e., that they're one. But when you get to Tawheed now, you're dealing with 99 names and attributes. You got 99 moving parts to reconcile with the oneness of God.
Yeah, but then again, you have like I'm just saying in general, you have an idea that God is one. With Trinity, it's 3 separate entities becoming one.
It's 3 characteristics that are unified or just one. So 3 expressions of the one thing. Um, that's not difficult. But now you've got this one thing, which is Allah, and it has 99 different aspects to it, at least. Come on.
Yeah,
You got to say at least. You can remember Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, right? But now imagine you now need to remember El Rahman, El Rahim, El Malik, El Qudusu, El Salam, El Bariu, El Ghafiru, El. Come on, El Sabor. Come on, B. Are you telling me that that the 99
we
names and
had to.
attributes of Allah
I
is
remember going to
easier?
mosque. I remember going to mosque as a child and having to memorize all of the names in in Arabic in a song. I had to
Mhm.
do that every single Friday to my teacher. And if you get it wrong, you get sent back and you have to start all the way from the beginning. And everybody in your class will take the mick out of you for the whole fucking week. It's just so annoying.
Mm. And then that's just the names and attributes. So we haven't even dealt with, the sifat. We haven't even dealt with like the actual attributes yet. Like that's something else that you have to go into. Like, does Allah rise? Or sorry, does he establish himself? Istawa. Does he descend? Does he move forward? Does he move backwards? Like, there's a lot that you have to go into. Then you've got, his lordship. He's what's it called? Rububiya. Then you've got his what's the other one? El Uliya. You got so many different things, yeah. With Trinity, sorry, with Tawheed, with the Trinity. Nah, man, that's simple. That's pretty simple.
But then
If I asked you right now, yeah, to tell me to recite all the 99 names, yeah, of Allah, can you do it?
I'm gonna be honest. This time in my life, no. But if you
No.
asked me when I was younger, I would have known.
And if I asked you, can you explain to me exactly what's a sifa? No? Sifa?
Sifar is something.
You have asma wa sifa?
Yeah, it's a concept in Tawheed that I don't necessarily know, but then the concept of Tawheed within itself is the oneness of Allah, and you have to accept that, because if you don't accept that, you commit shirk.
There you go. So now with the Christians, now they've got the oneness of Allah, the oneness of God, but their oneness is do you know the three parts of the Trinity?
Yeah. Father,
Oh,
Son, and the Holy Spirit.
ooh, look at that! You're more Christian than Muslim.
Yo, Kalam.
You could explain your the Christian theology easy. Like, yep, three parts, no
Okay.
problem. Hold on 1 second, Jesna. Let me get Buddha Big in.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How we doing? It's interesting. It's very interesting for me from an outsider looking in. I mean, the concept of the Trinity, I don't find that very difficult to understand. You know, when we say, for even a human being, we say mind, body, and soul. It's of the one thing. I don't, if you've got a Trinity of God, I don't understand why that's so difficult to comprehend. But I don't know too much about Islam and Tawheed and stuff like that. But what I will say is this. It's interesting that there is only one God, but he has 100 names or 99 names. That would infer to me, I don't know. So if we said Krishna, yeah, that's Allah. If we said Shiva, that's Allah. If we said Buddha, yeah, that's Allah. Do you get what I'm saying? There's so many different names we could call, but there's one God. I don't know what the purpose of having so many names for one God would be. Could anyone explain that to me?
Yeah, fam. Like, certain times, yeah, when you're out on road, yeah, like, it's peak, fam. You can't be using your government name. You need to use your street name. But then when you move into your babes, yeah, you need to give her your sweet boy name. But then, of course, when you're going to
Okay,
work,
all right, Callum,
yeah,
without
you
the
need to give her the
blasphemy. Come on,
professional
bro.
name.
Come on, man. A legitimate question. Come on, give me a legitimate answer.
And if you're like me, yeah, you're a bit schizophrenic, yeah, you need to have all different types of names. All right, cool. Now, let me stop. Let me stop playing games, right? Let me get Greg. Greg, are you there? I don't know if you're able to sort out your background noise. Are you there, Greg? Okay, I'll leave you. All right. Anybody else that would like to answer his Buddha Bing's question?
I think mainly the 99 names isn't in it more like attributes, sort of like characteristics, than rather being an actual proper name that's given like you having 3 different names as opposed to you having 3 different characters.
Okay, then, Miss. If that be the case, could you tell me some things then? Is one of Allah's name is one of Allah's name the Creator?
Yeah.
Okay. Is one of Allah's names the Destroyer?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're not named specifically as names; they're more actions. Is that correct? Or
That's how I see it. Obviously, the other average Muslim would probably see it differently because of how they've been brought up.
Obviously, the other average Muslim would probably see it differently because of how they've been.
I
That's
know that
my
was.
voice.
I know. I was about to say it feels mad weird when you hear your voice back in it.
Yes. Oh my God.
How do you feel? Yeah, sorry. So, Callum, would you like to clarify that? I know what the lady said, but could you clarify for me?
Could you restate it, please?
Okay, so the original question is this: why does Allah have so many names? Have 99 names? Now, the ladies expressed that they're not so much names, but characteristics or attributes like destroyer, creator, etc., etc., etc. Is that true, or are there actually specific names?
Um. Okay. This is a difficult one, you know. Like, my brother, I don't know how to answer this without going too deep. Yeah.
And please go deep.
No, I'm not allowed to go deep, you know. That's the problem.
Okay, I'll go deep. So uh, let me kind of surmise. Um, so would it be a case? I think between me and Rob, we should be able to crack this. In fact, let Rob go first. Rob, would you surmise? What would you say is the reason for Allah having so many names?
Well, I mean, I could only guess at why that is. It's so that people can understand some of the attributes, because the more you understand about a God, the better chance you have of believing in it. If you can't understand a God or its attributes, then you are even less justified in believing in such a God.
Yeah, I would say something like this. I would say for every action that man has, um, God, Allah has a name for it. So, for instance, if I was to use an analogy, if I was hungry, God's making you hungry because His name is the God of hunger. If I was angry, then God's making you angry because He is the God of anger. Do you get what I'm saying? Would that be? Is that kind of correct there, Callum, or am I far away?
It depends on perspective. It definitely depends on perspective. La, 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 la. Can I skip? Can I just skip, please?
La, you cannot skip.
Man said lie, you know.
You
All right.
cannot skip because this is the, as you say, scholar gang gang. So we come here to educate. I can't ask the question for an answer. If you can't give me the answer, rude boy, you can't call yourself a scholar no more. Get me?
Easy, easy. All right, cool.
Yeah, well, some of them are not easy answers, are they?
Yeah, no. So it gets real, how can I put it? Political. So, in that being said, you have to understand that Islam stemmed out of a philosophical school. Okay. And in that being said, out of the philosophical school, which is like most of this like Hebrew stuff and others, right? It's trying to find the sacred name of God. All right, that's what it is. We're trying to find what is the sacred name of God. And what that really means is trying to find out that which is God, right? You want to find what describes God. What is the essential characteristic of God? What is that? Okay. Now you can philosophize and say, hmm, God is love. Therefore, he must be the loving. But that can't be the essential name of God, can it? All right. And then you say, okay, so that is definitely one characteristic. That's like a positive, high value characteristic of something that we want to humble ourselves underneath, right? We want to humble ourselves underneath love. It's a positive characteristic that we know that runs and or rules the world. But in that being said, it's still not the highest thing. Why is it not the highest thing? Because in order to love, you must have something to love. Okay. In order to be the lover, sorry, in order to love, you must be the lover. In order to be the lover, you must have a loved one or a beloved, should I say. So you realize, hold on, that's not really the highest thing. So, what other names is there? And then you keep on going through, you keep on going through, you keep on going through, and you try to find what is exactly the essential characteristics that makes God God, right? And then there is also a statement within inside of the Quran that says, everything must perish but the face of God, right? And that a lot of Muslims don't understand what that means. When we talk about face, we're talking about what is the essence of a thing. The face usually represents the actual essence of something. So if you find in other things as well, like in the story of Ra and Isis, she wanted to find out the sacred name of God. What is it that is God? Because once you find out the sacred nature of God, you're able to do things that God does. And that's what kind of science is trying to do now. Like, what is the underlying principle behind all of this stuff here? If we can figure that out, we could replicate the universe. So it's like a philosophical way of finding the underpinning nature of what people classify as God. But there is a lot to it, there is a lot to it. So that's going to be my basic answer. That's my basic answer.
Okay.
I'll put it up there.
Well, thank you
Can
for
you?
that. And do you know what? It kind of coincides with what I was thinking in the first place. However, second part question to that: do you think Muslims interpret interpret it that way, or do they legitimately think that Allah has 99 names and they don't understand the philosophical side of it?
So I would say, like, if you go into like Sufi schools, they 100% understand the names of God, the 99 names plus one, because there's actually an extra one, which is the hidden name of God. But so they understand it from a spiritual or philosophical, metaphysical standpoint. But normal lay Muslims won't actually have a clue.
How
Maybe
would
that,
that
yeah.
be so though? Like, only Sufis would understand the concepts of the 99 names.
Because it's something that is taught with inside of Sufi circles. The 99 names is just taught, like, everybody knows the 99 names, right? Everybody knows that they come from the Quran and so forth. And, it's an attribute, and that's about it. That's as far as it goes. But with a Sufi one, is to get into the esoteric side of what these names truly represent. Or first of all, what does a name represent? And then what does these names represent, and how do we embody these names within inside of ourselves and try
Right.
to connect with it?
So Callum, check this, right? So even yourself as an intellectual person, and a person of knowledge, it's fair to say you're struggling somewhat to kind of explain it to its fullest. Okay, cool. All right. So then, if we look at the Trinity, it's pretty simple and easy to understand. Some people may have difficulties understanding it, but a simple thing like the number of names Allah has proves to be even more difficult to understand than the Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
So I would suggest people focus more on their own religions and trying to understand the meanings behind the names of Allah, and Trinity, understand what the Trinity is about, and accept the way people just focus on each other's religion. It's a bit, understand your own religion first, basically, before you go and critique and analyze other people's. That's what I would say from a Buddhist standpoint.
Whew, you're hitting the nail on the head, because when you start lifting up the bonnet and you're realizing what type of engine that you're running with, it's like, okay. But to be fair with you, right? Understanding the 99 names plus one of God and the divine essence of God from a Islamic point of view, it's not. I'm not gonna knock it. I'm not gonna knock it. I'm gonna say it's much more difficult and much more expansive than the Christian Trinity understanding. But once you grasp hold of that, it's all right. It's all right. Let me put it out there.
I'm agreeing with you, Callum. But the point I'm trying to make is when you point the finger at the Trinity, you also have to check your own thing and say, right, hold on, I'm talking about 3 different things when there's 99 things I could be talking about, as Jay-Z says. You get me?
You got 99 problems, but a divinity ain't one. Yo, trust me, when you start opening up those books there to do with Tawheed, Oh, mate, you're gonna get lost. You will get lost. Let's see if we got some really intelligent Muslims, right? That know, or some Salafiya Muslims. Can we get some Salafiya Muslims up in the building with us, right? You know, can we get some of those ones? Let's see if you lot can come in. Where's my Medina University students? Where you at, family? Jump in. Jump in, join us, right? But I'm gonna have to just quickly jump out real quickly. So please, Buddha.
Before you go though,
Mhm.
I watched one of your videos, like a while ago. I can't remember exactly which one, but you did say that you wouldn't convert to Islam because you know too much. And I just want to say, what made you want to say that? What made you want to say that?
Wow. Okay. Greg, again, yeah, you moving mad bookie, G. You need to either turn off your YouTube, okay, Greg, and just focus on what you've got right now on your phone or your laptop. Okay. So what would make me want to say, okay, why did I say, um, why would I say that? That I would not convert to Islam because I know too much, right?
I remember saying that though, at least.
Yeah, something along those lines. I usually say that, right? Let's see, difficult answer or easy answer? Okay, easy answer is always best, right? So,
Whatever answer you want to give, I'm not gonna get like offended or upset.
yeah, so Islam can be a very beautiful religion, okay? And I know the beauty of Islam, but unfortunately, I can't say many Muslims are actually following what I would consider to be al-Islam, the pristine version of Islam. They're following some, how can I put it? Some poisoned version of Islam. So I would not willingly, knowingly inject the poison into my system.
Do you mean that the sort of rise of Wahhabism within Saudi Arabia and stuff like that? Do you mean that?
So yeah, that definitely is one factor. There is many other factors as well. There's many other, how can I put it? There's many other snake bites that has happened throughout the 1,400 years of Islam.
Okay.
You dig?
I get it.
Yeah.
But I thought you meant in like a theological sense, like you found some errors within Islam, or it doesn't make sense, or sort of the modern day narrative of Islam doesn't really like coincide with the ancient Islam. Because I do look into stuff a lot, and I do keep an open mind when it comes to my own background and where I've been brought up with,
Mhm.
which is kind of hard for some Muslims, and I don't really get. But like it's always best to keep an open mind because you never know. You might learn something. You could be wrong today, but you'll be right tomorrow. You just never know. But I thought you meant in like the history of Islam or sort of the theological aspect rather than how it's been poisoned.
Yeah,
Do you
no.
get it?
As I said, like Islam in its purity, it's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. If you're going to follow your Quran and understand it within inside of the context, I will quicker tell you to follow your Quran in context and understand it and learn it and better yourself that way than try to convert to any other religion. Just focus on your book and try to make sure you follow it correctly. I personally have no need to do such a thing, right? That's a tradition that's been handed down to people who call themselves Muslims, and I don't have any need to jump ship and go to anybody else's religion. I'm content in what I'm upon. So therefore, I wouldn't, I don't have any need to jump ship. If it's theologically, understanding, Tawheed and so forth, I understand it. I keep saying this, right? I keep saying this that, we follow something which is called, Kemetic philosophy, so to speak, right? Islam knows it as something called Al Hanafiya, or they know it as something called a Sabaean, all right, or the Sabians, right? So, and in the history itself, it tells you that these people were the ones that handed down the mantle of what Islam became. Okay, so if I know that my philosophical school actually gave birth to Islam, right? There's no need of me to go to the child. I rather go straight to the source that gave birth to it. And that's quite that is that's it's just that simple. I think for those people in that area that was given this philosophical system to run with it and it became a religion, that's good for your people. It's tailor-made for you. But me, as somebody outside of that, I ain't got no need to be putting myself into that. It's tailor-made for a certain group of people. Stick to it if you're that group of people. If you're not from that area, not from those groups of people, like, you have no reason to be converting to Islam, in my humble opinion. But if you find it and it's intellectually stimulating to you, like, and it fulfills your needs in terms of like, what's the word again? Like your friendship, your peers, and it helps you in your life, then follow it. But I don't have a need to.
Can I just ask a question here? It seems to me you're suggesting that there's a utility to following Islam, which potentially one can't argue with. I've heard people saying, "Hey, I was a gangster and I found Islam and now I'm a peaceful person." Great if that's what changed your mind. I think the question for me is always, is it true? And should we be following something that is likely untrue? So there's one argument is there a utility value? Because somebody could believe in Superman, or they could believe in Thor, and still do good for the world. So you could believe in other mythical things, and it could have a utility in your life. But I guess the question for me is, I would suggest people need to follow things that are likely or demonstrably true. Would be the first point that I would go towards.
Mhm. Definitely.
And presumably, I would suggest you don't follow Islam because you don't believe it to be true, as I don't, and Buddha probably.
No, I wouldn't even say that. I think that there is a lot of truth in, Islam or the Quran and all that good stuff there. Okay. Um, but there is, how can I put it? There is high school truth or high school knowledge. Then you've got college knowledge, and then you've got university knowledge, and then you've got postgraduate knowledge. And I'm good where I'm at. I'm not going to say what level that Islam is at, but I would just say Islam has got a good grip of understanding on a certain level of knowledge, but there is higher knowledge and of understanding. That's
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
going to be my politically correct answer.
okay. I mean, there's always going to be truth statements within any ideology, right? Or things that you can show to be true. But if I give you an example, do you believe it's true that this man, Muhammad, a voice in a cave, didn't know who it was, had to go and ask to find out, and the entire ideology is based on that? Do you think that occurrence in fact happened as it's supposedly retold by Islam/Muslims?
I think it happened in a symbolic sense, meaning every how can I put it? Republic talks about it the best, right? Every state has a founding myth. It's going to be based upon truth, but it's spoken in a mythological way.
Wouldn't that be legends then, if it's based on truth but then sort of twisted?
No, it's just how the people spoke at the time.
So,
Oh,
Rob,
okay.
let me try and answer that, Rob. I would believe, yes, the Prophet Muhammad went into the cave, got a revelation, couldn't quite figure it out, went to his wife, and then went to the wife's uncle. Yes, I believe that possibly could have happened.
Have we
And
have we got any good reasons to believe that in fact there's an angel and he spoke to this man 1400 years ago? Or as it says, Kalam says, is it more likely that it's a myth? And I think those of us who are not Muslims, it's more likely it's a myth, because you're claiming a supernatural / extraordinary event, and we don't have evidence for it. So I'm on the side that didn't happen, but I could accept Kalam's point that, hey, this started as a myth and it's gone from there. But I think the foundational claim is very likely untrue, and so the rest you can build it on a mythical foundation if you like, but don't claim that the entire thing is true.
So, Rob, are you discounting the fact that he might have hallucinated? He might have, been under the influence of some sort of noxious gases within the.
Do you mean like he took like some magic mushrooms or like psychedelics?
Yeah, if you want. I mean, I don't want to say that it completely did not happen. I think in one, because if you're saying that, then are you saying, Rob, that the Prophet Muhammad never existed?
No, I'm suggesting that the act of an angel speaking to him, yes, it could be that the other parts of that happened, i.e. he could have gone to a cave. We don't know. Historically, that's not, as far as I can tell, that's not, historically verifiable, for want of a better word. But he could have gone to a cave and he could have heard a voice. But to claim that it's an angel that spoke to him, that part there, that's not believable.
Well, yeah, no.
Sorry, Buddha. What I'm trying to understand is that before he received these revelations, why was he visiting the cave frequently?
Well, do you know what? I asked that same question to Kalam a few months back, and from my understanding, if I recall properly, there was a group called the Hanafiya, I believe, and he was engaging with them in some sort of ceremony or stuff like that, and that's why he was spending time in the cave. When Kalam comes back, we could probably ask him just to verify that.
Because I'm trying to understand, was this this time spent in the cave, was it for hours? Was it days? Was he eating? Was he fasting? What were the conditions of him being in this particular cave?
So as I remember it, he was engaging in some sort of practices, that some sort of initiations to do with the Hanafiya. And one of those initiations was to go into the cave and quote unquote meditate. So yeah, yeah. But if you look at things like some of the shamanistic things that happen with ayahuasca, it's very similar. They take some sort of substance and they go into like a cave or a teepee, and they sit down and they sweat and they meditate and they go into a trance, etc., etc., etc. I'm not saying that the Prophet done that, but we see that in modern day, and we've known it from history. There's a probability that certain things like this could have happened in the past. We don't know the shape or the context of what these Hanafiya were trying to do as kind of like a ceremony wise. I don't know. I think Kalam can answer that later.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is that
Speak of the Kalam, and here he is.
What's that? What's good? What's good? What am I missing out on?
no, I was just saying, Kalam, that Muhammad's experience in the cave, his time spending in the cave, was it hours? Was it days? Was he fasting? What were the conditions around him being in the cave? And previous to receiving these revelations, why was he going to the cave frequently?
Mm-hmm. So, for those of people that actually know,
Before you answer, Kalam, can I ask the lady Jesna whether she could give an account Islamically as to why the Prophet was there? Do you know, Jesna, by any chance?
From my knowledge, he had to be there for. I don't know exactly why he had to be there, but when he was there, I think it was when he was trying to escape with some people, and then he went into the cave and he sort of hid, and then eventually the angel Gabriel showed himself and then held him by the throat and asked him to read. And then
hold on, wait. Held him by the throat.
Yeah, held him by the throat.
That's a little bit aggressive, don't you think?
It's conflating two stories though, but continue.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Okay,
sorry
then
to interrupt.
held him by the throat and told him to read, which means recite or something. So Iqra was like the Arabic word, and then he said that I cannot read because I'm an illiterate person. I did not know how to read and write. So then the angel held him even more tightly, and then told him to read. And then eventually he did read, and then it was sort of a miracle that he was able to read when he wasn't somebody who was illiterate, man.
Sorry, ekra. That means to recite. Is that correct?
It can. I said it means recite and read. So he commanded him to read.
Yeah.
And Iqra means recite.
Now, did this angel introduce himself to Muhammad in the cave as Gabriel?
Hold on, Nino. Do you
Yes.
know what? Let's just ask Callum to verify what Jesna just said. Callum?
So, yeah, let me go back and say, this was happening before there wasn't any persecution of Muhammad or anything like that. When he was going into Hira, the mountain or the caves. Um, so yeah, he was going in there, and he had his amazing experience. He had his amazing experience,
All right,
right?
Callum, hold
So
up, back up. What? Why was he? Why was he even there? What was the purpose of him going into that cave in the first place?
okay, so he was doing his worship basically, or he was practicing tahanuf, which is the Hanafi way. Some people will say that's being recluse and so forth, right? And doing some type of spiritual aesthetic works inside of the caves, i.e., meditating and so forth. Now, the reason why he was going to the caves itself, the cave or the hills was a place that the Hanafiya were at. Okay, the Hanafiya known as, or a particular man known as Zayd ibn Amr, was there, and he was the first one to kind of introduce Muhammad into that particular path. And he was himself was the one who was persecuted and wasn't allowed to enter into Mecca in fear that the young children or the young people of the city might convert to his religion, which is against the norm of the time. So he was kind of relegated to the hills of Hira, and Muhammad used to frequent there and learn from him, and practice his aesthetic religious practices inside of the cave.
Sorry, what was the name of the mountains? Did you say
Hira.
Hera, as in the Greek goddess Hera?
one could go that way, but I'll rather not do something like that. I'll rather just say
Because
Hira.
that has an implication if it is. But anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, go on.
Nah, Hira is kind of like just saying the cave. It could mean like literally mean like mountains, or it could even mean like something that's really, really hot. Um, as well. So he used to go up there, and practice certain devotions. Let's call it devotions, right? And then, according to the story, like, I don't know, let me just quickly check it. How many of you guys in here, and I'm talking to the audience members, right, belong to any mystery schools or any initiation schools? Anybody? Just putting it out there real quickly, just see. Anybody belong to any mystery schools, any fraternities, any initiatic schools? No, no one. All right, cool. Say nothing. So yeah, and then according to the mythos, okay, it's the mythos now. Um, according to the mythos, the angel, oh sorry, yeah, the angel, this being approached him and told him to read and showed him a piece of paper, I say paper, it was called a brocade, to read, and he was saying, what shall I read? Or various stories will say, I cannot read, and so forth. Then
Did
this
sorry, Callum, to interrupt you, bro, but I just need to be really kind of clear in my mind. Did
Mhm.
the angel grab him by the throat?
um it's one could interpret it that way. One could interpret it as him being strangled or him being squeezed. So being strangled does kind of intimate, the throat.
But does that not is that not an aggressive kind of thing for an angel to do?
Very, very, very aggressive thing for an angel or anybody, human, non-human, to do.
Because what I'm trying to understand, Callum, is that this same angel, Gabriel, is his
No, it was.
behavior.
It wasn't. It wasn't Gabriel though.
No, sorry. Okay, wasn't it? Do you know the angel who it was then?
The name of the angel is not being given.
So nobody knows.
Wouldn't it? Isn't it not like taught in generally in Islam that one of the main angels in Islam is Angel Jibril, and
Yeah.
when you say the angel, it's just Angel Jibril. But then if it's not Angel Jibril, then they will have to say his name.
No, because when he went to Khadijah's uncle, Waka said to him, "It's the same Lamus. Is it Lamus or in the Greek, same spirit that came to Moses? That's where he got this angel Gabriel concept from. It was Waraka.
Waraka, isn't it
Because
not?
when you check the story initially, the angel did not introduce himself on the first time. All he said to him was, Eka, Eka, read in the name of your Lord. He read him out the surah, but there was nowhere in the story where the angel says, I am Gabriel.
So are we
But
sure?
isn't
I could really give you guys the upgraded version. Yeah, but I'm not trying to cast no what's the word? Pearls of swines, right?
So Callum, I'm talking the first time, the first interaction between him and Gabriel. I'm talking before the story develops legs. I'm talking the initial encounter, the first time. Did the angel introduce himself?
Okay.
did you say Waraka?
Yeah.
Waraka, the uncle of Khadija.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, the this particular angel, um, did not, there isn't any place where it says, or any authentic sources that says, he introduced himself as Gabriel or anything like that. Okay, we can look at it through a sinister lens, right? And we can come up with some amazing interpretation.
But are we
Or
100% sure that it was an angel?
We don't know. That's what we're saying because the angel didn't introduce himself to say, I am Angel Gabriel. What we're going by is what a man had told Muhammad that it's the same angel that came to Moses. That's where this concept came from.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm asking Callum, do we have any verification to say that it was in fact an angel?
okay, so it's basically said that it was an angel. Um, it definitely was an angel. It wasn't the angel Gabriel, but it was somebody that came in an angelic form. I'll put it like that. Somebody that came in an angelic form.
Because the reason why I say
Okay, sorry, Nino. I'm just trying to get my mind around this because angels don't behave in the manner of gripping up people by their throat. So I'm trying to, unless they've done something wrong.
because the reason why I say this, Callum, is that obviously in the Bible, I have not read anywhere where any angel grievously attacks any prophet in such a manner. So I'm trying to understand what angel is this angel because I've not read anywhere in the Bible where the angel behaved in such a manner.
Indeed. And that's what I'm saying. Like it's one of those ones here where it's either do I want to be nice or do I want to play the games with you guys, right? So
No, just be truthful.
No, it's not. Callum, it's not even
Just be
playing
truthful
games.
to
It's
your
not
own
even playing
knowledge.
games. I'm just going by the story that's presented itself. Like, it's not even playing games.
yeah, so the best way to look at this is a foundational myth, right? It's a foundational myth, meaning this in literal terms never actually happened. Why do we know that it never literally actually happened? Angels, okay, according to most people's understanding, aren't actually physical beings. They're intelligible beings, beings of light.
Oops, I think he dropped.
Oh dear. Okay, well, do you know what? Let's kind of move it on.
Well, Buddha, I think a Muslim could argue, hey, the reason that, I'm just saying, devil's advocate, I think a reason a Muslim could argue that he grabbed him by the neck, for example, is to shake him out of any potential illusion that he might have been under. So he could have thought that he was dreaming. And so maybe they could argue, hey, the reason that Gabriel did this is not because he was a, unpleasant angel, for example. This is what Muslims could argue. I'm not saying they do, but I'm just thinking they could.
Yeah.
Just to shake him out and go, hey, no, this is real, and you are now having the physical experience. So, whoops, he's dropped.
I hear that, but you know what, Rob? I look at it like this. Every time there's an account of an angel visitation, it's more or less the angel grabbed me, caressed me, embraced me. It's all these non-violent, loving type of maneuvers. But all of a sudden, we're hearing gripping up by the throat and squeezing, and
I agree with you. It's inconsistent given the other stories of angels. It seems inconsistent. This particular encounter was more of what appears to be a violent encounter or somewhat violent encounter, as opposed to, as you say, the more peaceful encounters. So I agree that it's not consistent with other angel stories.
Yeah. So,
Callum.
Is Kalam here?
No, he's dropped. Both his accounts have dropped. So hopefully he'll come back in again.
Okay.
What I'm trying to understand is that outside of the Abrahamic faiths, are there any concepts or stories of angels within other ideologies?
Yeah, there's well, not so much specifically angels, but there are entities and deities that persist through the Hindu mythology and to a certain extent the Buddhist mythology. So there are, especially in other cultures, you'll find them all over the place. But that's another conversation altogether, I suppose. But I was gonna say this. You know what? Why? Do we? I mean, we have this concept of jinn. How do we know that the angel wasn't a jinn? Jesnia, would you like to? I mean, sorry, Jesnia, you're the only Muslim on the panel, and if there's any Muslims listening, jump in and try and help the sister here, man. Come on.
Well, obviously, like the we can only go what's written down. Do you know what I'm saying? We don't know. I always say this, that we're not living in a desert in the 7th century. We're living in the UK or wherever, in America or wherever, on concrete land. So we don't know. We can't really give a 21st century eyes on what actually happened. So we can only go with what's written in the scripture. And what's written in the scripture is an angel. Obviously, people will say, well, if it's just an angel, then we're just going to assume that it's Malaka Jibreel, which I've been taught. But we can come up with other ideas, but then we don't know. We can only go what's written down on paper.
Okay, so are you aware of the satanic verses?
Oh God. Yo, brother. Hey,
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay.
I've heard of like weird.
Yeah, so far I've heard of them as well. I was just gonna ask you about it, but I think Callum wants to say something. Go ahead, Callum.
Yeah, buddy. Like, y'all trying to steer them down the mad path, B. Like,
Oh,
of course.
I just want clarification, bro. You know me, man. I don't come in there to stir shit. I come in to learn things. You get me?
Of course, right? So with this, right, we can either choose to be on the attack, okay, and give, the negative ways of looking at these stories, right? And we can quite rightly say, so let me just put this out there, right? If you was to be objective in one sense, okay, you could easily say, like, how do you know it's an angel and not a jinn? Like how do you know? All right, and we can easily simply say that, look, even Muhammad himself, according to certain narratives, did not know whether it was an angel or whether it was a jinn. He himself thought he may have been possessed by a jinn and so forth, until other people had to reassure him to the otherwise. But quite clearly, it could have been that, but they've just, lied to him, and he's now believed, etc., etc., etc. Right? That's if you really wanted to, do that and draw up that type of narrative, which, if you're a Christian and you want to attack some Muslims, go ahead and do it. Like, it's a good one. It's a nice argument. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to win that argument as well, because there ain't going to be an easy comeback, so to speak. Or you can look at it from a real, like in reality terms, like understanding the literary devices of the time, and of religion in general. Okay, so you'll find in tons of different places, whether it's Roman mystery systems or Roman religions or Roman cults, whether it's Greek cults as well, whether it's the Hebrew cults, Egyptian cults, whatever the case is, right? You will always find stories of caves and mountains all the time. Okay, you can go through, as we've talked about via Plato's Republic. We've spoken about the cave, the analogy of the cave, and being in darkness and then finally coming out into the light. And that's kind of like a Muhammad moment right there. You can talk about what's his name, Moses going up into the mountains, and again there is the light, the burning bush, and an angel speaking through the burning bush, right? You can go to these stories, or you can go again to Moses up into the mountains, and the children of Israel, camped out at different layers of the mountains and so forth, right? So we can see all of that. We can see that there's so many different stories, whether it's Zeus and so forth, that there's always caves and mountains being made mention. Now, to most people who are part of certain societies, they understand the initiatic concept behind it, and they also understand the the metaphors that must be told to safeguard the secrets of that initiatic experience. Now, if you're part of them and you read these stories from that perspective, right, you can clearly see the devices that are being utilized, right? You can see, simple things such as the squeezing of Muhammad 3 times, right? We understand how can I put it? We can understand the symbolisms of threes. We can understand, the symbolisms of death that's trying to be inculcated. We can also understand that there is some type of light or knowledge that's being spoken about in terms of him being told to read. We can understand, an angelic being, talking about some type of intellectual pursuit and coming to an awareness and understanding. And now going forth to try to teach that to man. Like after you've removed the darkness from your own life and you're now into the light, it's your duty to now go into the darkness and try to resurrect people and get them out of darkness into the light. So we understand, those of us who pass through mystery systems, we can read these stories and we can say, oh, we went through exactly the same thing that Jesus went through. We went through exactly the same thing that Muhammad and Moses went through, because we can understand the symbolism that's being applied into the stories. And I'm seeing it and I'm reading, I'm like, yo, that's just straight symbolisms. But of course, when it goes later on down the line, they now started adding salt and pepper to the story, and this happened and that happened. And that's to those people who don't actually understand the story itself. But again, I'm going to tell you that it's simply a foundational myth, okay, that didn't happen in its literal sense, but in its symbolic sense, it is a true story, right? Symbolically, it's a true story. Literally, it's not true. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah. What do you mean by
Kalam, just a quick question there, brother. Takia Watch is asking for the link in the chat.
Oh yeah, that should be fun. But you know what, Kalam, to those who follow the religion and interpret it quite literally, you can understand how it could be interpreted literally, yeah?
Of course.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna kind of sidestep it slightly, but it's to do with this. Have you ever heard of the Oracle of Delphi?
Yeah.
Okay. Where did she reside?
Wasn't it not the property of Phoebus Apollo?
Well, she gave her premonitions from a cave, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, when you was talking about caves and all the rest of it, and I, many years ago, watched a National Geographical documentary of all things, and they had a few seismologists go into the cave and check it out and test it and all this kind of stuff. And do you know what they found?
Some like fumes, noxious gases and stuff.
That's right. There
Yeah.
you go. And these fumes and noxious gases, when inhaled on a regular basis, on a long basis, throw you and give you hallucinogenic type experiences. This is why I was always interested as to where the cave would be that the Prophet went to. To be real with you, we know about Mecca, we know about Al-Aqsa, we know about all these different places in regards to Islam, but we don't know where the actual place is that the Prophet got revelation.
You do, man. Just type in El Hira or just Hira cave.
Can you visit it? Can you go there?
You can go and visit, man. Trust me, you can go and visit.
I think I might have to put that on my bucket list.
It's all there for you. It's all there for you. But again, right? Just understand it's not literal and it's metaphorical. Once you understand that, you're good to go. Once you understand that there was no physical, literal angel and it's all metaphorical, you're good to go.
But Kalam, if that's the case, what does that say about Islam in its entirety?
It's that's a lot of noise, Jess. Let me just mute you up.
Let me rephrase the question. If in fact Gabriel did do what is claimed, and that happened over 23 years, then there's a basis for saying, hey, this information in the Quran, i.e. Islam, came from a supernatural source. If in fact that's a myth, and that's not the case, then what's the other option? It would have been man-made, I would suggest, unless there's some other spirit that got involved at some point. So presumably this is quite important. And if we go with what I agree with you, that it's a myth in some sense, then doesn't that have some fairly serious consequences for Islam as it's understood by most Muslims?
Yeah, it definitely would. Like Islam, again, that's why I said I'll stay far away from it, because it's definitely misunderstood. If you understand it in its proper context for its time, it's you're like, okay, cool, I understand that, I'm with you on it. But now it's just like, ooh, it's been religious. What's the word? Religiousized. It's been religiousized, man. And then you got a lot of fanatics that are running around with this, with these religious myths in their head. Like, yes, if I blow myself up, I'm gonna get 72 virgins. You're like, sugar. From one symbolic story, you actually, when you took it literally, and now you're gonna kill yourself for some fake, not fake, but some metaphorical pum-pum. Like, that just sounds mad. It's mad. Who wants a metaphorical pum-pum? Anybody? Anybody?
What is the meaning behind the symbol of the 72 virgins?
The symbolism of the 72 virgins, talking about the upper the upper hemisphere and the lower hemisphere, or the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. When you go into astronomy, you have the 36 deacons in the north and the 36 deacons in the south, and they represent the 72 nations all around the world, symbolically.
Is that it?
Yeah.
So what's the idea behind women being why isn't it not something else? Why is it only 72 versions of women?
Well, how many more do you want?
No, it's like, why is it in the Quran it says, not in the Quran, but like in the hadith and stuff, it says that this you're gonna get 72 virgins.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not in the literal sense. But if there's gonna be 72 virgins, isn't there a lot of other symbolic things in the Quran?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, the story behind where you said Muhammad going into the cave is not a literal thing, but sort of like a symbolic thing. Would there be more things that would be like that?
A whole heap. The whole Moses story and casting down his rod, and all of that good stuff in there, or anything that you find miraculous. Okay, you'll find there's a lot of symbolism. The Quran is heaven, hell, all symbolisms. But let me keep my mouth quiet, because this is why I'm not meant to be talking on these things and disrupting the order of the world. Everybody's supposed to believe these things. Let me just be quiet.
Surely we want people to believe what's true, and if it's not true, then we should be critiquing it, right?
Yeah. Again, there's levels of truth, right? So if you do certain actions, it will take you to hell. And that is true. Okay, but some people don't understand that. Some people believe in the literal hell, and that's good because it keeps them in order. Other people understand it's a symbolic hell. Like, you now start going out there and start having unprotected sex, baby. Trust me, baby. I got a few friends or two that have told me that certain areas that they carried on their sin with was burning for a prolonged period of time. All right, for a prolonged period of time. So if you don't want to burn, make sure you follow the laws of the Quran.
Oh man.
So it's true. It's true.
It's true, especially these days, man. You don't know what you're gonna catch.
So it's true. It's just the level of perception. Some people may have a base level of perception, and some people may understand it on a much more higher level. So I would say it's still true, right? But just the way you interpret it.
Mm.
Rob is still not convinced. He's like,
yeah, no, I don't like this whole thing of what's true for one person. Somebody else can have another truth. That's subjective. We normally, when we're talking about as an objective truth, that truth is what reflects our reality to the best of our ability. Somebody says it's true for me, that's a pet peeve of mine. What you really mean is, hey, I believe this with a high level of certainty, but you're misusing the word truth. Then, like you say, it's a lowercase t. I'd rather you never use the word truth. Truth is something that we can verify outside of yourself. And generally speaking, I mean, there might be a truth. There might be somebody could bring up some truth that we could verify without external. I'm not aware of many, if any. But for somebody to say, it's my truth, well, no, it's your belief, not your truth.
Yeah, I think if the Quran or any religious book was spoken in its literal sense, like it would take away the beauty of it, the poetic nature of it. The deep, I don't know, the deep thought of it. Could you just imagine, like I don't know, and at the same time, I don't know. Some of us do talk to our children in a very direct manner, and some of us we utilize metaphors when we're speaking to our children. So I don't know.
Oh, Kalam, you're such a nice person. Can I do it?
Takia.
You're such a nice person. So I will say it instead. Okay, so I partly agree with what Rob said. He said that basically truth is something that's verifiable. It's something you can actually try to in English, how do you say it?
Demonstrate, I guess.
No, disconfirm. That's not how you say it in English.
Understand?
Disprove. All right, so we're not dealing with truth. So a better word would be reality. So we try to come in as close as reality as possible. So if no scientist will say this is truth, they will say this is what we have according to our research. And of course, that hypothesis and the result can always be updated. So you'll never speak about 100% truth. You try to come as close as possible. Therefore, you speak about, this evidence is showing the following results. You never speak about truth. So in this conversation, we want to speak about reality. So far, are you following me?
We're following you.
All right, cool. So first of all, we're dealing with beliefs. Let's just make that super clear. We're dealing with conviction based on beliefs. Nobody knows.
Just to make it clear,
calm down speaking. I know that you eat rice, just like I eat rice. Maybe you are part of them. Who knows?
Just so you know, I'm going to apply the same logic you're applying now to Christianity after you've finished, yeah? Go ahead.
Yeah, somebody's muted you there, brother. You need to unmute yourself.
Unmute your mic, Takia. Jeez.
So we're dealing with beliefs based on conviction, but you have to be sure that you're dealing with beliefs, which means that you have to have a certain level of skepticism. That's beautiful, You be unsure of yourself, and you always try to look at evidence. We're dealing with beliefs, all right? And to respond to the argument that Kalam put forth, this is basically what I do on my broadcast, or your broadcast, and my broadcast. My screen here is the following. It's Luke 1, chapter 1:29. Can you see this, my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
This angel Gabriel saying what I would expect Gabriel see in the Quran. So the angel is saying to Mary, do not be afraid, you have found the favor of God. So the aggressive part, or how he handled Muhammad, that is not how the Old Testament or New Testament describe angel Gabriel. Point number 2, I'm going to do drive-by, by the way. I'm going to do this and I'm just going to leave. Second thing. Okay, maybe Christians will not tell you this, or they don't have the chance to explain this to you. But Christians believe that angels can come in the form of light, or Satan come in the form of light. Is this news to anybody here?
Nope.
Can I just say?
Hold on. Satan, we believe, Christians, that Satan can come in the form of light. So maybe they will not tell you. We think actually that angel or Satan came in the form of angel and he deceived Muhammad. Next point. For 2 Corinthians 4:4. Satan, who is the God of this world, has blinded the mind of those who don't believe. Isn't this angel Gabriel meeting Muhammad? Okay, that's my drive-by. I'm finished.
Yo, you're not going anywhere. Stay here. Where you going? Me and you have to talk, my friend.
You can't just come in and go.
Apply the same logic.
Well, let's let Jesna have a go. Buddha, let Jesna. She wanted to say
go
something.
ahead, Jesna. Go ahead.
Okay, the lady.
All right.
Yeah, I'll take your comment and then I'm gonna go.
No, but you can't you can't just come in and then leave. Like that's. Anywho, I just want to say, like, you're a Christian, right?
Sure.
Takia, watch.
Sure.
So you have an understanding of what Christianity is to you, and like just to clarify, isn't there not enough symbolism within Christianity? Because I think Christianity, there's more blatant symbolism is what we was talking about within Islam, but then there's a lot of symbolism within Christianity.
Yeah, sure.
So do you follow the? I tried to explain this to somebody else before. Do you follow the King James version of the Bible?
I think all translations okay.
Okay, so where it says in the book of Genesis, I could get anybody on the panel to correct me. Not the first verse, but where it says the second verse, where it's, "Come, let us make man in our image, after our likeness."
Do you want me to put up, or maybe you can put
No,
for your points?
like, no. Do you know it says Genesis 1:2, the second verse, not the first verse, the second verse, where it says,
Sure.
"Come, let us make man in our image, after our likeness."
Sure. Yeah.
It says that, doesn't it? So,
Yes.
do you believe God made man?
Well, it depends on how you take this. Yes, but I mean, this might surprise you, and maybe some Christian will not agree with me. But the first generation's church fathers believed in. Are you guys ready? First generations, they believed in. Should I say it?
Yeah.
Evolution.
Yeah. What?
Evolution.
No, I'm asking you. You said you're a Christian and you believe in the King James version of the Bible. Yes.
I said I believe in all translations. They're saying the same thing.
Okay, so what does that
So can you repeat your question?
mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? You follow all translations?
I think they're saying the same thing. So if you want to go back to the original text, you have to go to the Hebrew in the Old Testament, and in the New Testament, you have to go to Aramaic and Greek.
No, we're only sticking to the New Testament of the Bible.
Oh, okay.
It's written in English. We can all
I'm
understand.
fine with all translations.
Okay, so where it says Genesis 2, "Come, let us make man in our image, after our likeness," it says that you think that God, in the Christian Bible, we're not talking about all the Abrahamic religions, but in the Christian sense, that God made man.
Sure.
Well, what if I told you that's not what it actually says?
Tell me.
It means man was already there, and then God came and sort of manipulated man's genetic coding to make the man that we have today. And there's a lot
All
of
right.
thoughts behind it. Have you heard of a guy called Zachariah Sitchin?
Who?
Zachariah Sitchin.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know what? Hold on, miss. Do you know what? Zachariah Sitchin is a proponent of ancient astronaut theory, not Christianity. Just put that
No,
there.
but he sat down for God knows how many years and he translated. He's a Palestinian sort of Israeli guy that sat down for like decades translating the Sumerian text, basically.
And you
So,
believe
lady, can you just make your main point? Because I gotta go because I have a class tomorrow.
I'm just saying that I just want to say that there's a lot of stuff within Christianity that we need to look at as well. You can't just like sort of keep into like one corner. Do you know what I'm saying? We gotta like spread it out, like, because you just came up and you started bringing up like lots of sheets out.
What did I say? What did you hear me say? I brought forth 3 passages.
Yeah, and then you was like, "I've gotta go, bye," and I'm like, "How?"
What did I say? 3 passages.
All right, go on then.
No, what did I say? I showed 3 passages. I can repeat them if you want.
Go on then.
Like, you don't remember what I said?
No, because I wanted to confront you.
First thing is, okay.
all right.
Kalam,
Yeah.
say something.
No, yeah, we do, man. Let's move on to something else because I don't want this to drag too much. Because I gotta go in a minute. Let me see who else is up in here, right? I'm trying to get Rose. Rose, talk to me.
Hi, Kalam. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
So here we go again. Like Takia, we spoke with him yesterday about the other debate, but he doesn't really describe what he means by the Trinity versus the Tawheed. I don't think he actually understands the concept of Tawheed. And he already left. I wanted to talk, like, to address his points, but he's not here.
Oh man! All right, family tree, right? We've got so many people tuned in right now, right? And where's the likes at? Where's the likes at? I know they hate the hate button. They're gonna hit the dislike button, right? But if you're here for Titans TV and you want to destroy all the haters, just keep on hitting the like button, okay? Share this with your friends, your families, your neighbors, your wife, your husband. I don't know, your next of kin. Do what you gotta do and share the link, baby. Let's do this. So we got the medicine man. Medicine man. Hey yo, medicine man. I like that smile.
Yo, yeah,
What's good, God?
what's up? What's up? Is good, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
What day? Come on.
yeah.
You got any magic to drop for us?
You know, yeah. Nah, joke. I came in the right time. I just came in and I heard a little bit of Zachariah Stitch and Anunnaki theory being disputed. I think what's the female's name? The sister.
It's me.
Oh, what's it? Oh yeah, what's it? Jezzy or something.
Jesna, not Jezzy, Jesna.
Jesna.
I'm dead.
Yeah. I heard you mentioning Zachariah Stitcher when you're trying to ask Takia about the Genesis story, and yeah, I think you look like you was getting into some Anunnaki story or something like that.
Yeah, I've not looked too deep into it, but I've sort of brushed over some of the basics of it.
You know what, Gabs? I've read one of his books. It was a waste of my life, man. It was.
Nah, do you know, Buddha? I hear what you're saying, but never say it's a waste of your life, because it's good to read, because at least if someone does bring up something like Zachariah Stitcher, where some people say they don't know, at least you can say, "Oh yeah, I've read that guy. Yeah, I know what he's talking about." So you can kind of get into the convo. So I know what you're saying. You might think it was a waste of my life, but information is information. Sometimes, you got to swallow anything. So it's all medicine at the end of the day.
Yeah, that right, Kalam, you there?
Yeah.
Kalam, I got a request for you. The request is next time Takia Watch comes on, he doesn't dictate the show kind of thing, because he's got a habit of doing that, right? I think it's only fair that he answers some questions from panel members before he spews out what he wants to spew out. Just a request.
I hear you, my brother. I hear you on that one. You two definitely have something going on. So next time we're gonna have these two lions going up against each other. I would really love to see that. But again, right? I'm utilizing symbolism. Am I wrong in saying that Buddha is a lion and Takia is a lion? But if I was talking in a literal sense, I would be a goddamn liar, because of course both of them are not lions. From a symbolic, allegorical, metaphorical sense, it makes some sense, I hope. All right,
your microphone is sort of rustling. I don't know if it's against your clothing, but it's not as clear.
Oh yeah, it is.
What would you call me, Rob? What? Hey, Rob, don't make me. No, I'm joking. I don't like the symbolism of a lion. I prefer myself to be a honey badger.
A hyena, you said?
Honey badger.
You like to bugger men? What?
Okay, keep your homework to yourself, my friend. It's a live show, yeah?
Love you. I don't know. I'm in a funny mood today, family. I'm in a funny. Oh shit! Is that the time? I gotta get going. Let me see. Whilst I'm here, right? I'm gonna let the show run out and stuff. Whilst we're here, can we take some? Comments up in here, some questions real quickly, however you want the show to go, and we'll try to make the show go that way. Okay. And again, if you guys are trying to click onto the link and it's not working for you, simply drop your email inside of the chat section right now. Drop your email inside of the chat section. If you don't drop your email inside of the chat section, I can't add you directly, and I'm about to go out. All right. Whoopsies. Man, like Omar. All right. Otherwise, the link has been posted. Okay. The link has been posted. Let me just double check if anybody's added me via Hangouts. Nope, nobody hasn't added me. So I take it that everything is good and I'm able to leave out. I'm going to try to tune in on my phone. Let's see. Pencil. What is Allah's name? What's Allah's name, God damn. He's got 99 names, but what's his real name? That's the question. And the way you find out is by writing his name on pieces of paper or sticks, and you throw it into the fire. Whichever name doesn't burn, that's the real name. All right, that's the real name right there. Okay, no Metatron this evening though. Why did you not enlighten the panel? Nah, family. Said it's too much, baby. It's too much. Can't be dropping those powerful informations. What do you think about nature? But I haven't really tuned in. A few people's been asking me still. All right, so we've got a few people in here now. We've got Bart. We've got Mahed. Okay, Bart and Mahed. Okay, let me say hi to Bart. What's good, Bart? Hello. Hello. Abdul? Any Abduls? Hello? All right.
Yeah, it's good, bro.
Well, go on, Mahed. You good?
That's good. I'm chilling, bro. I'm chilling.
Jeez. Anything that you want to drop?
Not really. I'm just listening.
All right. So I'm gonna do. I'm gonna open it up, right? But family, 1, 2, 3, 4. No. That's all mad. I actually want to join in here whilst I'm on the road. So if somebody can make sure that there is only like another spot left for me, that would be really nice. We got Mule up in here. What's good, Mule? Yo, Mule. All right. Say nothing. All right. Let me leave the show over into the capable hands of Buddha and Speakers Corner UK Rob. All right. You two have got moderating capabilities. So do your thing.
Yo, Kalam, what I'd say is sign in on one of your devices, and then when you're on roll, we can bounce that device and you can come in your other device.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. So I'm going to be here, and I'll do that in a minute. Let me just set myself up. So you lot talk. Let me just set myself up.
Yes. Okay. Do you know what? I was going to ask a question, you know? So my question goes out to a Muslim person. Do you know what? Jesna's chat enough. So can I ask either Mahad or Rose? Are you guys there?
Yeah, bro. What's going on?
Not a lot. So, hello, Rose. So look, I'm gonna ask Mahad, Rose, because I've spoken to Mahad before. So I think I got a bit more of a connection with him. No disrespect or offense intended. So Mahad.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you this. You're a Muslim, right?
Yep.
Right. So, if I was to ask you, Mahad, what would you say to me to invite me to become a Muslim? What would you say to me? Before you answer, I suppose I should say, look, so I live my life by my own karmic rules. I'm free to do whatever I wish. I don't smoke, I don't drink, don't take drugs. That's out of choice.
Anymore?
Sorry?
Anymore?
Anymore? No. So that's out of choice. Yeah. I try to be a good person.
Are you a Buddhist?
Well, kind of, yes. I'm a Buddhist. I follow a Buddhist concept.
Okay. I would just ask you, what do you think will happen after you die?
I don't concern myself with things that happen after I die. I concern myself with the present.
Right, but it's human nature to be concerned what happens in the future, correct?
To some degree, yes.
Okay, so if I was going to tell you, you woke up one day and you slept on your bed initially, and you woke up on a train.
Yes.
Wouldn't you be concerned? What would the first question? What would the first thing come to mind when you woke up and you're on the train? What's the first thing that would pop up in your head?
I would think a girl drugged me and my stuff.
Yo, is that really what you would think?
Well, yeah, well, that's plausible. I'd think, how could this have happened? I would think, if I can't
Exactly,
remember.
that's my point. So that's my point.
Can't remember. I must have been drugged. No.
No. Let's say you were fully sober and you slept on your bed, and you woke up and you're on a train.
Yeah.
What's the first thing that will pop up in your head?
I've lost my mind. I have some sort of amnesia.
Okay. But let's say you're completely fine, you're completely healthy, you have no amnesia, you have no
Well, then I
history
can't be,
record of
because if I
amnesia.
can't remember how I got on the train, then there's obviously something wrong with me, isn't there?
Well, let's say any normal person would question who put me here, and like, is this logical? Is this logical?
Well, no, I would ask how I got here. I wouldn't say somebody.
Exactly.
Put me. Yeah, okay,
Right.
how I got here, yeah.
So your conclusion would be somebody put me here, right?
Right.
Exactly. So
I wouldn't say somebody put me here. I would have said I got here on my own. I think the train analogy is a wrong one. Try a different analogy.
I mean, that's the one that I can relate to be honest.
Well, I wouldn't say somebody placed me there. I would have said I got there on my own volition, but clearly I've either forgot or something's happened to me where I can't remember how I got here.
Right.
I'm assuming you're using the analogy that God created.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Yeah. How did you get here? 1,000 years ago, you did not exist, correct?
Neither did you.
Exactly.
Right.
That's my point. So how did we get here? Why are we here? We're eventually going to expire as human beings, and that's a fact. We know this. Death is certain. Nobody can escape it.
But sir, with respect,
certain questions you have to ask yourself.
I'm asking you to give me an example why I should join Islam. Is this the example you're giving me? Yeah.
Well, there's many religions. All religions have this concept of God, right? So you have to. I can't really give you. You just have to search. I mean, you have to search which one.
I think maybe I should pose the question a little bit different. I don't think it's fair on you. If I said to you, look, I'm happy how I am, what benefits would I get from becoming Muslim? I think that might help a bit more.
Let me just think of a good answer. Hold on, just give me.
Okay, all right.
Well, maybe you can ask another.
Yeah, should I ask Rose? Rose, would you like
Buddha,
to...
before you do, Buddha, maybe that question is not the ideal question, because you're potentially asking a utilitarian question, and they can give you a plausible answer that it'll make you more peaceful, whatever. Maybe a better question is, why should I? And can you demonstrate that it's true? Because they could, in fact, give you a utilitarian answer that would be satisfactory. But what we maybe what you're looking for, I don't know, or what I'm certainly looking for is this true, and have we got good reasons to believe it?
I would ask that after, given, if somebody said to me, well, do you know what, like you said, they make you peaceful. I would wait for the answer first and then ask if it's true, because I don't want to prejudge any response.
Well, I mean, they could say to you, hey, we've got the answer for what comes after death. Wouldn't you like to know?
All right, I'll tell you what then,
yes.
Rob.
Yep.
Why don't you ask Rose if Rose is willing to answer? Rose, are you there?
I am here.
Okay. Rose, Rob, why don't you ask Rose that question and see how she responds?
So my question, which is slightly different from Buddha, because he's asking, how did you phrase your question exactly?
So I phrased it like this: given the lifestyle I've explained, what benefits would I gain from becoming Muslim?
All right, let Rose answer that first, and then I'll ask it afterwards. My one.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Sorry. Could you do that, Rose? So I live a peaceful life. I try to do good things. I don't take drugs. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I'm governed by my own rules of karma. So, given that lifestyle I live, what would I gain from becoming Muslim?
I would say you're already on the straight path. Now it's a matter of just adding belief to it. So you are going to get a lot of rewards for that, especially because you'll be a role model for others coming behind you.
But am I not that already?
If you are already, well, it's different because people tend to follow others whom they know they can emulate in a way.
Right, but can people not emulate me as I am now? Not that I wish them to do so, but...
Well, you would, because we're immortal, we're going to die, but because there's God, the ever-living, the everlasting, people will depend on him for the strength to do what the righteous people have done, which is, forbid the evil and enjoin good. So if you're already on that straight path, adding, belief to it in a creator would help keep people strong throughout that process.
Right. So I've managed to be strong without the belief in a God, So are you saying that if I had a belief in a God, I'd be stronger? Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Could you explain how that would work? How would that work? How would I be stronger? Would I drink less? Would I smoke less? Well, I don't understand. Okay. Well,
A good question. A good question.
Mahad? No? All right. Gabs, can you act on behalf of the Christians?
So that go on, bro.
So, because I know you're well versed in Christianity, so
Yeah.
would you play the part of a Christian? So,
Yeah, go on.
Mr. Gabs, as I've explained my lifestyle,
Yeah.
how would you entice me to join Christianity? What would I gain? What benefits would I gain from joining Christianity?
You know, from a Christian point of view, they say your everlasting, your soul will be basically eternal life, basically. You know, so accepting that Jesus is the Christ, and then your eternal life being rewarded to you with the Father in heaven.
And if I said to you, look, I accept and respect the teachings of Jesus Christ, but I don't go so far as to worship Jesus. And the same for Islam. I accept and respect the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad and the Quran and all the rest of it, as with the Bible. However, I don't believe in them and I don't follow them. Is that not enough? Do I have to actually join? Do I have to actually sign the dotted line and become a believer?
Okay, so accepting the word of Jesus Christ would kind of be like the first step, and then obviously I think the basically the signing what you're talking about would be obviously being baptized, being born again, under the blood of Jesus Christ, what the Christians do. So you're basically you're basically halfway there. So the baptism, would be your final step, or being born again. That would be it. Which recommends a little, being anointed or baptized in water.
But I would gain nothing other than that. Other than the afterlife, there's nothing that Christianity could offer me that would change what I am now.
No, in the physical sense, no. Because if you're living your life righteously and you accept the teachings and you live in your life kind of on the same way of the teachings, but on the physical plane, you're in the right, you're going in the right way. It's just more the afterlife and your soul, your eternal soul, where that's gonna go.
Okay.
Yeah, but can you see that I think Gabs has given you a good reason from a beneficial point of view. Again, we don't, there's no reason to think that's true, but I think that's a good reason that Gab has given, because obviously the physical life is only 70 to 90 years. But hey, if you believed in Christianity, there's your eternity waiting there. So I think that's a plausible. So the question I think that you're asking is easily answered, and I think Gabs did a good job of that. But I don't think it's the important question.
Yeah, but like I've explained, and truthfully, I do not concern myself with an afterlife. I think there's more evidence for reincarnation than there is for heaven and hell. I can give you multiple instances of people remembering past lives, whereas I don't think there's many people that remember going to hell or heaven.
What do you mean by reincarnation?
Sorry, hold on. Let me just finish. So I truthfully do not believe in an afterlife, or I don't concern myself with an afterlife. If there is, there is. If there isn't, there isn't. I live my life a certain way, and if that's not good enough, because as both Christian and Muslim have just explained, I more or less are on the right path. So just a slight augmentation of believing in a God or not believing in a God can
No, I never said you're on the right path.
No, you didn't, but Rose did, and so did Gabs.
Oh, okay.
Could I answer that question, Buddha?
Let me just respond to Miss Jesna first. Sorry, Jesna, what did you ask me?
I think it was Rose.
my question was, what do you mean by reincarnation? There's more evidence for it.
Did you say there's no evidence for reincarnation? There's plenty of evidence.
I meant what's the evidence for it?
Okay, so there have been multiple stories of young children remembering past lives. So they would say, "Mum, come to this address," and blah blah blah. They'd go into the address and they said, "Yeah, this man died here in this chair," and they'd contact the owners of the house, and lo and behold, it's actually true. Person died in that chair. So you'd have to ask yourself, how did that person get that information? How did they know that? Again, it's only anecdotal evidence, so we can't state it as fact, but it's more anecdotal evidence than there is for heaven and hell.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Gab. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, and this is the thing. And see, if I was to pose a Christian, I would say, my response to you would be, it is actually kind of coinciding with what you're saying, because this heaven and hell which you speak of, doesn't, it doesn't speak of a eternal hell or heaven where you're going to go in the Bible. Jesus says that, if you accept his teachings, and you're baptized and you're born again, you will be you'll be given a new body. And I think even the Muslims can attest to this. You'll be given a new spiritual body and placed on a new earth, to live your life, not in hell or these places. So yeah, you will be coming back again, in a perfect new form as yourself, and given a new body to live on a new earth, because the old earth and the old heaven will be destroyed. So this is just
Wait, hold on. That this is news to me, because all I heard growing up as a child was eternal damnation and stuff like that. So
okay.
let me just clarify and understand what you're saying to me. Are you saying that as a Christian,
Yeah,
they believed in a concept of reincarnation?
yeah, it's in there. You get given
Oh
an
I don't know
my
about that. I
Lord!
don't know about that, bro.
I've never heard that in my life.
Never heard of that one.
Could you expand on that, please, Gabs? If
Oh.
no one has any objections, I just want to.
What I'll do even better, I'll just get the verse and just read it for you.
Okay.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, no problem.
By reincarnation, do you mean like a new body, a new creation?
So I believe when we die, our spirit
Yeah.
leaves our body, or our spirit or our soul leaves our body,
Yeah.
and goes into another place, another being.
Oh yeah, we believe that too. Muslims believe that, yeah.
Okay, well, now I'm hearing Muslims believe in reincarnation.
No, we believe. No.
Where am I? Is this a Twilight
Okay, let me
Zone?
just. Let me explain. Okay, so we believe when we die, okay, our soul gets out of our body, and it goes back. It goes back to God. Then it comes back to earth.
I believe. Yeah.
It comes back to earth, to the grave, and we call it the barzakh. It's like a realm between the day of judgment and this world. So as long as the day of judgment didn't happen, these people that already died, they're in that realm.
All right, wait. Let me just get that right. So, Islamically, when you die, your spirit leaves your body, goes up to God, and then goes back into. When
the people bury you, the soul comes back down, and it goes back to the body, and then you're in a state of bliss if you're a believer. If you're a disbeliever and you didn't believe in God, you're in a state of punishment. You're getting punished in the grave.
But my friend,
and then
listen, my mind's getting blown here. I haven't heard this stuff before in my life.
No, this is all in the.
Understood that. I understand that you got. So how'd you get to Jannah then?
So this is how Jannah happens when the day of judgment happens. So when the day of judgment, when the world ends and the day of judgment happens, nobody knows when that's going to happen except God. Then all the souls, every soul, the first from Adam to the last person who lived on this earth, will be resurrected from their graves, and they'll be judged for their deeds.
So basically, everyone that's died since the concept of Islam was created is basically living in purgatory, waiting for the day of judgment.
Yes, and some souls are roaming freely, meeting each other. Some people are meeting their friends, their family, the believers, while the disbelievers are getting punished, like Pharaoh and all those people and his followers. They're in their graves, getting punished.
Okay, I'm lost for words. I don't know what to say. I've never heard this before.
Yeah.
Rob, did you know this? Did you hear this before?
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, go on, Gabs.
Yeah. Okay. Go in. Promise you will be looking at heavens and the earth, which God. All right. So, in the new, there's a few verses that I'll read here. So this is in second. This is in Second Peter, verse 3 and 12 to 13 says, looking for and hastening the coming of the day of God, because of which the heavens will be destroyed by burning, and the elements will melt with intense heat. But according to His promise, we are looking for a new heavens and new earth in which the righteous dwells. And then if you go to Revelations 21, then says, then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth passed away, and there is no longer any sea. Yeah. And then we go to Revelation 21:3 again. It says, and I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is among men, and he will dwell among them, and they shall be his people, and God himself will be among them. So this is the new Israel that comes down, after Revelations, the earth and everything's been wiped away, the old earth and the old heaven. There's going to be a new earth and a new heaven, which the people come back and you get a new body and you live with the Father in this place. So yeah, be a new earth.
Wow, that's interesting, man. So how does one access heaven?
Like I said,
Well, yeah, from the Muslims, we believe that
okay.
there's 8 gates. So you have to be entered. You have to be permitted to enter. So you just can't enter based on your own discretion. You have to be given permission.
Oh man.
And yeah, there's 8 gates. So there's a gate of prayer. There's a gate of fasting. There's a gate of charity. So it depends. Whatever you did in this life, very good, you'll enter in that whatever gate you excelled in this world. So if you're good in charity, you'll enter the gate of charity. If you're good in prayer, you enter the gate of prayer. Some will enter through all of them because they were good at all of them. So they'll enter through like a special gate. And that's from the Islamic view.
Okay.
From the Christian narrative, like I said, basically the path that you was already on, like you said, you live in your life by righteous. Living your life righteously. It's already a step in which Christ was teaching. So the only final piece of the puzzle for you to gain that eternal life in this new earth, a new heaven, is obviously being accepted.
All right, let me slightly change the question. I don't mean to go on. So Rob, if you want to jump in whenever you want, feel free. So Mahat, just correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand in Islam, if you have some sort of an illness, i.e., let's say you have a mental illness or you have a learning disability of some sort,
right,
you automatically go to heaven. Is that right?
Yeah, you won't be. You're not accountable for your actions if you have if you're like mentally,
and
if you have a mental disability, you're not accountable.
And the Christian perspective, Gabs?
I don't know. I don't know if I don't know about anything to do with the mental health if you get straight access, and I don't know if it mentions anything about if you're mentally ill or something like this, you get straight access. I haven't really seen anything on that, so I don't really want to answer on that because I haven't seen.
Okay, Rob, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I think for me the more interesting question, especially to our Muslim panelists, is why do they think Islam is true? Because you could conceivably, as Gabs has done, bring about some benefit that may well be of benefit to people to believe it. But why should we believe it's true? And for me, the truth is more important as to whether it gives a benefit. Because I could find benefit in something that's not true, and I think any of us could. But I care about what's true. So maybe you could answer for us, why do you think it's true as opposed to not believing it or believing something else?
Well, it's Islam is basically Tawheed. We call it monotheism. So you have to uncover what you believe. Do you believe in God or not? I have to establish that with the person. So I have to ask you, why don't you believe in God?
Because I don't see any good reasons or evidence for it.
Okay, so what are you using a phone to to basically connect with us? Okay.
Yes.
So did this phone come out of nowhere?
Oh dear. Oh, we got to go down the phone created by humans then.
No, I'm just
Really?
asking a logical question.
Yeah,
Because
no, well, it's
what's more
I'll show you
sophisticated?
where your logic fails. So go ahead. I'll show you where
Okay.
your logic breaks
So
down.
what's more sophisticated, the human body or the phone that you're using?
I don't know. What methodology are we going to use to assess that? Can you give me a methodology that I can employ?
I'm just asking you a logical question. You can
I'm
say yes or
asking
no.
you, how do I assess it?
How do you assess? I mean, just look at the intricacies of the human body, and you can tell me.
No, well, I think the phone is more complex because it has this innate circuitry that is more symmetrical, that's more perfect than the human body. What do we do now?
Well, I can't help you then. Like, at that point, I can't really help you.
What do you mean
I
by
asked you for a
more?
methodology because you're asking me to use intuition, which is a terrible method for assessing some of these truth claims. And I've just given you a very plausible explanation as to why I think the mobile phone is more complex, because you didn't give me any methodology to assess the complexity. If you say to me, Rob, here's the methodology you should use to distinguish between the two, A, then I have to establish whether I agree with that methodology, and B, if I do, then I can go ahead and do it. If you're just going to ask me one question, I've just given you a plausible answer as to why I think, and I've given you reasons why I think the mobile phone is more complex.
Makes you think that the mobile phone is more complex?
I just gave you a reason, because it's got intricate circuitry that is so precise, parallel.
Okay,
just
so
amazing that the human body doesn't have. So by my
cool,
reading,
cool.
that's more.
So you don't think that
what has a more? What's more? What do you call it? Like, okay, if you drop your phone in water, will it break or no?
Yo, let the lady finish. Yeah, what's your name? Mohad.
Yeah.
Let the lady finish. Go ahead, Miss whoever was speaking.
I just want to say, what makes the who's that guy with the house?
It's Rob. Just say Rob.
Rob. Okay, sorry, Rob. Yeah. Basically, I just want to say, why do you think the phone is more complex? You said because of the intricate circuits that's within. Don't you think that there's intricate circuits within the human body?
Not to the same level, no. And that's why I asked our other friend here, what methodology do we use? If you can give me a methodology to assess complexity, then we've got.
No, but you've just.
Well, from the
stated
Islamic
something
perspective,
really
God tells us in the Quran to look at
One at a time. One at a time, guys.
You've just
Let me speak to
stated
the lady.
something.
Go
You've
ahead.
just stated something really, 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 really like out there. Like, you're saying basically there's no complexity, or there's no complexity as compared to a phone to a human being.
No, I didn't. What I said was.
No, but you've implied that the phone that we have in our hand. Okay, go on then.
Jasna, listen again.
Okay.
I was asked which is more complex, and I chose a subjective methodology of complexity, and I said the circuitry. And so by my subjective view, just using one option, there could be others, I suggest the mobile phone is more complex because the circuitry is incredibly fine. It's smaller, it's more detailed, it's more symmetrical than anything in the human body. So I've chosen a subjective method, which I don't think you can really argue with. And so where do we go now?
No, but I think that the human body is much more complex.
And why do you think that? And what is your methodology for assessing that?
Well, I think because the human body, we can understand what goes into a phone because we've made the phone, but we've not understood how the human body works unless, like an actual, like, we can't actually recreate a human body.
Okay, but there's a difference. Hang on a moment, though. There's a difference between recreating something and understanding how it works. We do understand how the human body works.
So no, we don't. We're still doing research about it.
What do you mean we don't? Well, apart from consciousness, what else is there that we don't understand about the human body?
There's so many things that we don't understand about the human body.
I mean, if you go and look at any medical journal or literature, we understand the human body extremely well. I mean, I'm not saying it's perfect, but extremely well. But understanding something again. Yeah, but Jasna, understanding something has got nothing to do with complexity, right? Because that was the original question. Because I was originally asking, why do you think Islam is true? And our friend here went down the complexity route.
Okay, but I just.
And so now I'm defending why I believe something's complex. And actually, what I'm looking from you guys is, why should we believe Islam is true?
No. I'm not going into that because that's quite deep. But I just want to say.
Islam means submission to God. So we have to talk about God if we're talking about Islam. It's one in one.
But the thing is,
Not
this:
necessarily, to be honest.
why
No,
not?
Islam means Islam to the God, like submitting to God, like to the one Creator. That's what it is. So
Not
if you want me to
necessarily.
ask you, if you want me to tell you why you should accept Islam, I have to basically assess what you believe in, like what's your belief in God and whatnot.
No.
That's why I asked about that.
Are you saying?
Because you have to, if in order for somebody to accept Islam, is for them to make a choice to want to accept it and to
Yes, and
see
they
if
have
they
to say
want to.
exactly, and they have to say the Shahada, which is La ilaha illallah, meaning there's nothing worthy of worship except God, the Creator. They have to say this. All right, so that's why I have to. If you want to accept Islam, you have to know who God is and what He
Yeah,
wants
well,
from you.
no, first, no, that's
No,
not the
because
first
there's
thing.
so many religions in the world, and
I
that
need to know why you
explain
think
God.
it's true. I'm not going to believe something that isn't true.
The
So why do you think it's true?
problem
Well,
is,
from my perspective, I look at the creation, I look at the universe,
Yeah,
I look
it's
at
a, it's an
myself, I
internal
look at
realization.
what you call it, like I contemplate on the universe and I come to I use deductive reasoning and I come to the conclusion that there has to be a manufacturer, an architect behind this whole universe.
No, there
So that's
doesn't.
how I come to the
No,
conclusion.
well, your deductive reasoning is flawed. It doesn't have to be that way. It
Okay,
may be that way, but it doesn't have to be.
Okay, could you tell me why it's flawed, please?
Because we don't know that it has to be that way. In fact, there's scientific hypotheses that are certainly plausible that that's not the case. So it doesn't have to be. That's one possibility. I grant you it's a possibility, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Can I just make a comment to that?
Go ahead.
Yes, Rob, you said it was flawed. The reasoning is flawed, but in fact, it's not. If you think about it, right, logically speaking, if there is a creator, look at the creation, isn't he the only one worthy of worship? And look at it from a logical perspective if you're unable to realize it just by viewing nature.
but
Logically speaking.
why would a God that needs nothing, that wants nothing, need your worship?
He doesn't need our worship.
He doesn't need worship.
Yeah, but
Then
we're
why-
already jumping
Are the
ahead.
ones-
That's the purpose of creation.
No, that's the purpose according to your literal text. That's what it is.
But think about it, right? God does not need our worship. It is rather we that need God. So we are a human being who has free will.
Yeah, but Rose,
Choice to go the wrong path.
Rose,
To
if you're
wrong
jumping
ourselves,
ahead, though,
to wrong others, and because of that, we need guidance. Okay, so
Sorry. There are people that live in the jungle that have never seen Western civilization. They don't need any guidance.
okay, but you're talking about people living in their natural orders, yeah? They don't
And
have
if you ask those people, they'll say there's a God, 100%. They would not be atheists. 100% they wouldn't be atheists.
Well, that's the funny thing. Nobody's been there.
no, we know some that are atheists in the jungle. So
Please show me. Please show me. Please show me.
Yeah, please go ahead and look up the Paraha people in the Amazon. These people have no belief in the supernatural. In fact, they're
Rob,
the great example to debunk the fitna.
Rob,
you can't say, "Oh, God sent a book to give us guidance." We don't need any guidance.
Of course we do.
You don't need no guidance? I mean, that's your opinion.
Why do you have a brain?
Do you see the state of the world today? We're in an era of nuclear weapons. This is not a joke. And this is
So why do I not need no guidance?
we're in that era, and everyone is still like not aware that we need higher power guidance, because humans will destroy each other.
Hello there. So look,
Hang on, brother.
I don't believe in any of your scriptures or anything like this. Yet I'm probably more righteous than some Muslims. So how do you account for that?
Now you shouldn't make that assumption, because
I should, because I know Muslims who smoke, drink, and gamble.
Okay, that's probably a few, but if you really think in numbers, right? 1.7 billion people
thinking in numbers.
are doing their part to contribute to world peace.
Yes,
when it comes to eradicating poverty,
I understand. I'm saying to you that I know Muslims who smoke, drink, fornicate, smoke weed, all the rest of it. So, in that sense, I'm more righteous than them.
God, right? We're not here to judge people, but to call people
to. You just said that we need God. That's what you just said.
Okay, and then I gave you the example that we, as a humankind, are in a state of nuclear weapons. Yeah.
So
What do you mean by a state of nuclear weapons? What do you mean by
if
state?
we need God.
Sorry,
Tell me.
Hold on a minute. 1 second. If I tell you why what you're saying makes no sense. Yeah. When America dropped the atomic bomb on the Japanese, where was God?
This is why I'm telling you, God does not need us, but we need God. This is the people's, switching of it.
See,
As if
that's the problem I have with religious books. Yeah.
it is we as a collective who need God. Otherwise, the state we're in today, if there is going to be a World War III, it's not going to be funny or cute for any of us. Nobody on the ground will suffer except the humans who live ordinary.
What I find funny in the Bible and the Quran is how God picks and chooses who He wants to help. He helps Moses, He helps Noah, He helps Jesus, He helps Muhammad, but He can't seem to help us in the 21st century.
That's because we're not the one.
God helps who He wants to. He does what He wants. We have no.
So basically, now it's a God of favoritism.
Yeah, but Nino, I don't
Not
think that's a
necessarily.
good. Nino, I don't think that's a good argument to use against Muslims. And the reason why I don't think it's so good is because they can claim that, hey, He's given all the knowledge to the prophets before, so now we have all the knowledge. So going down that route, I think they can give adequate answers to that particular point. I'm not sure that's such a strong point to bring up against them.
Well, can I answer start from the Christian point of view? Because we've been hearing Muslim dialogue backwards and forth now, and I just want to give a simple answer from the Christian point of view. So, and this is why I know people ain't really been listening, because you just heard the sister saying that we need world peace, we need to do this, we need to do that, because there's a nuclear thing happening in this earth. But what did I just say was going to happen when I just read the scripture from the Bible? This earth and this heaven is going to be destroyed. So regardless of you trying to look for new peace, world peace and all this stuff, it's going to be destroyed anyway. Hence why there's going to be...
Carry on, Gabs. You said something and you stopped. Oh, has he dropped? Oh, he's dropped. Okay. And Rose has dropped. No, Rose is still there. Rose, we got sidetracked a little bit there. I was still on the point of why should we believe that there is in fact a God? And then you went on to mention as if we should take God for granted, as in He already exists. And then we went off on that tangent about is it good and should we do it and does He need anything? But we're still not even past the point that we can you've given good reasons to believe that it existed.
Hello.
Gabs, you dropped. Sorry, you carry on there, Gabs. You dropped off.
I wanted to get to that point as well. But I was saying, yeah, so this earth is going to be wiped out. Hence why, in both Christian texts and Islamic texts, they say Jesus is going to come back and there's going to be the final judgment day where everybody gets judged and the earth gets destroyed. So trying to look for world peace and all this stuff is, to me, from a Christian point of view, it's the earth is already so. It's more accepting, what Christian would say, is more accepting the teachings of Jesus, because your eternal soul is what you're going to be, and it's if you're going to be chosen to make this new earth and this new heaven. It's just plain and simple as that.
Yeah. So
why should we believe that?
I'm gonna say, and the reason why I say that, because look, the lady, Rose said there's about how many Muslims? About 1 point. Would she say 1 point something billion? Did she say?
Yeah, like 1.5.
1.5 billion. Okay, 1.5 billion Muslims. How many Christians would you say there is in the world?
About 2.8 billion.
2.8, 1.5 and 2.8. So we're looking about almost 3 billion religious people. Yeah. How much people do they say we have on the earth, roughly?
About 7. There's probably more. There's more religious people, obviously.
Probably more, but we're talking about the Abrahamic religion. So let's say about 7 billion people on the earth. Now, out of that 7 billion, yeah, 3 point something billion are coming from the Abrahamic religions. Now, me personally, obviously, I don't know how my maths is, but I think that number is quite a substantial amount of number for there to be some sort of change, or to galvanize some sort of peace. When you got 3 billion people, that's coming from that same framework, or that same scriptural text. So if 3 point something billion people somehow can't come together and we can't see a little snippet of change, bearing in mind these religions have been with us for past how many thousands of years.
That's a beautiful point, Gabs.
Yeah, that's
exactly Allah's message, subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are one people living under God. We're all one, and this is the thing that people try to differentiate between us, but in reality, we are one just as our God is one. Thank you for bringing that up.
How's that? What's that? Are you making an argument in favor or against something, Gabs? What is that point that you're trying to make there?
Yeah, my point was how it's just a bit crazy because that's a lot of people, you know, that follow in the Abrahamic religions, and you know, it's basically the point of we have all these people, almost 3 point something billion who believe and worship and want world peace. You know, they want all this stuff, but yet over the thousands of years that, you know, we've had these texts, that these scriptures have come, we till now to today, you know, we still seem to be in a state of confusion, war, conflict. Things don't seem to be getting better, and that goes back to what I was saying in the scriptures. Why the reason why that's happening is because this earth is doomed anyway. It's due to be destroyed. So that's not the purpose. The purpose is trying to save your eternal soul so that you can get in to the kingdom of heaven or the new earth. Because remember, in the Bible it says, the road to heaven is very thin, but the road to damnation is very wide. So it's giving you a choice. It knows that everybody's not going to make it because, you know, it's just where it is. Only those that accept are the ones that are going to, you know, profit at the end.
So basically, Gabs, this exercise that God is having right now is basically a pointless exercise because God knows everything, right?
100%. He knows already. He knows who's going and who's not.
So exactly. So we're just all wasting our time, basically.
Because it's gonna get destroyed anyway.
This is the point, bro. We're all out here fighting each other over what's right, what's not wrong, but it's all a waste of time. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends on the perspective, I guess.
Huh?
Depends on the perspective. If you're a religious person, then it's not a waste of time because your eternal soul is on the line. Obviously, from my point of view, it's not a waste of time either because people, you know, their beliefs have got consequences and they affect the world that we know exists, which is the world we're all living in. So I don't think from anybody's point of view it's a waste of time. It's just that the religious people think that their soul is on the line. Obviously, I don't have any good reasons to believe in a soul. So yeah. I wouldn't say it's no good reasons to, but you're right in the sense that it seems to be pointless if this God knows everything that we're going to do. Then, you know, we're just following what God has already planned for us. And then, of course, as you sort of inferring quite rightly, we don't really have free will.
Well,
we're just guessing about it.
Interesting.
I would say, yeah, that really and truly, actually, it's not really, God does know, but remember, I think I would say that from a religious point of view, religious people point of view, it wouldn't be pointless, and it actually would make a bit of sense because God does know where you're gonna go in the end, and you know, in this meantime, you know, the messages and the stuff that's come to you, if you in your human state while you are on this earthly plane, this rock, it's now down to you whether you're going to accept those messages and make a change via yourself. You know, at the end of the day, it's about yourself. You know, it's whether you accept the message and whether you adhere to the teachings of, you know, the so-called prophets and God. Because if you do, like what the Christians say, you know, live your life righteous and you accept the teachings of Jesus and you believe that he was crucified and you become born again, then, you know, the moment you die, you've already got that ticket. But for everyone else, obviously it's doomed because hence why you see the world is treated in from a religious point of view, you would see this is the reason why the world is treated in a certain way, because they know they must have some sort of inkling idea that this earth is going to be destroyed anyway. Hence why you see so much stuff going on, you know, hybrid food.
Yeah, but Gabs, Nino's point is a good one. You know, if God knows it's going to happen, you or I or anybody else is going to choose it or not choose it anyway, and he knows what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So why play a chess game when you already know the outcome?
This is the point. I mean,
okay, that's a good point. Yeah.
it's basically a pointless exercise, and then this raises questions about the from a psychological point of view of this God's mindset, how this God is thinking. Like, why even bother? Is it because you want to measure yourself against us? What is it? You're trying to measure what levels you're at? Is that why this is the purpose? I don't get the whole purpose.
Okay. See now, me personally, for my opinion, this is my opinion, no one's opinion. This is why I would say what makes sense to me is that the creator, or this one entity, God, because all there is God. This is coming from my thing. This is why I can see that all there is God, and all I can see is that this creator God, has taken it upon himself to create these things so that he can experience these things. This is him testing himself, lowering himself down to the state of humanity to understand and look. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because all knowing God, yeah, he knows everything, creates everything, can do what he wants. Yeah. What better to test himself, to lower himself to the lowest state, make himself limited, make himself limited and try and test himself and see if he can overcome the test of being a carnal human being, to make it back to himself. You understand what I'm saying? It's all a test for himself. That's what I think personally.
Yeah, it's a test for humans, though. God is testing us.
No, but
So basically, so God can be weak and all powerful at the same time. What you're saying?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it's not a test. A test is you don't know the results. God already knows the results. It's not a test.
Yeah, but we don't know.
Yes, it's al-qadr, yeah. Decree, divine decree.
Now we have to ask ourselves this: how did we find out about this particular character called God? We heard about it by men writing books, and numerous men writing books. Now the question is this: are these men writing the book? Is it the God they're talking about, the image of God that they're creating?
See, now we're going into the unseen, right? We're talking about things we have no knowledge about, unless you're going to call those prophets and those messengers liars.
No,
which,
because
you're going to have to provide your evidences and proofs. See, I don't see them as liars. I don't think they had any reason to lie about an afterlife or God being there. When you actually sit down and think about it, it makes a lot of sense.
No, but my mother makes a lot of sense, but she's not always right. So the point is this: now these men that have written these books, the God they're talking about is a male God. It's a man. It's an ego.
We can't compare God to anything that we know. It doesn't have gender. We can't associate anything that we socially constructed. We can't attach that to God. All powerful, you can't. You gotta, learn more about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then you'll understand the concept.
Remember, you're putting all your hopes based on these numerous men have written, Moses, Jesus. So you're putting all your eggs in one basket for religion, and you're putting all your faith and hopes in this one basket. Now the thing is this: what if this basket is just full of lies?
You would lose nothing. You would absolutely lose nothing if you give your hope to God, right? And you rely on God for your sustenance. You're not losing anything. In fact, you will be contributing to the good, and there's nothing to lose.
Yeah, let's just say everything we're saying is wrong and we die and nothing happens, like the atheists say.
I would say to
Nino, do we lose anything? Do we lose anything at the end of the day?
No, you don't lose anything.
Okay, and on the other side, if what we're saying is true and you guys
they lose everything,
you lose everything. So who's on the better side? Who gets the better end of the deal?
We are, because we're being intellectually honest. Pascal's wager is a dishonest, disingenuous approach.
Rob, he said, if in the afterlife, if it turns out that the messengers and prophets of God were indeed truthful people, who will be at loss? Will it be the people who believed and done righteous deeds throughout their life, or will it be those who didn't do any of that?
Well, in your scenario, it would be the people who didn't. However, as Buddha's pointed out, he's doing righteous deeds and he doesn't have to believe what you believe. So in that respect, Rose, isn't he going to heaven and he doesn't have to believe in Allah?
No. That's
If
wrong,
you
man.
Hang on, one at a time here. Rose, you asked the question. So, like Buddha, you agreed that he was doing the righteous path without believing in Islam. So, presumably, he's going to heaven without that, correct?
okay, but
No,
what
he's
I
not. No.
No, I'm
Okay,
asking
I'll give
Rose.
you an
You've
example.
obviously got a different position, but let's hear Rose.
okay, what we were asking you, Rob, is if the prophets and messengers of God were indeed truthful, and you chose to reject them and belie them, and we other people, the believers, did not, who will be the one at loss
I
on
would
the
be
day?
the one at loss if
If
that were
Sorry,
the
there is
case,
a
Rose.
judgment,
But
the
Rose,
logical. This is a logical argument.
hang
You
on
know,
a
you,
moment. Hang on,
Rose,
Rose.
Rose,
yeah.
We can't both talk.
the thing is this, Rose, yeah, I think we first of all you have to understand these prophets, they are not God. They're getting so-called revelations from the source. So I have no obligation to acknowledge these mere men who are receiving so-called revelations from God. The only person in question I might consider, acknowledging is the Creator. I don't
Sorry,
need to.
could I just maybe just jump in? I've been quiet for a little while, just listening. I've heard Miss Rose talk about acknowledging the prophets and all this kind of stuff. Miss Rose, could you tell us Islamically how many prophets were there?
There's been thousands of prophets sent down over humanity's course. You know,
Approximate,
But we know of only
Appro-
25.
approximately 124,000. prophets.
124.
Every single nation had a prophet that
No,
warned
but
them
we only
about
knew
God.
of.
Okay. You said every
There's
single
only
nation.
25.
Hold on.
Every single nation.
Let me just finish this.
Everything, every village, every town, every city had a prophet.
No.
Okay. Name me the one that was sent to the Romans.
Nino, what on the man? So there's 124,000 prophets. There were
Yeah.
124,000.
This isn't the hadith, but in the Quran we only know of like 25 that God mentioned.
I see.
These are the major ones that
okay, well that's a bit of an issue because I have issues with the hadith. So okay, forget it.
No, it's in the Quran too. Allah says in the Quran that we sent to every nation a warner, somebody who warned
124,000 prophets. Does it say that in the Quran?
Yeah, before Muhammad, before Rasul, Prophet Muhammad. Yeah.
So it does say that in the Quran. There's 124,000.
No. It doesn't say that. It says that in the Hadith, but in the Quran it says Allah says we sent to every nation we sent a warner, and we will not punish a nation except after sending a messenger to them.
Okay. Well, with respect, I'm not gonna go by what Hadith says. Okay. How many Hadiths were there?
No. What I said is the Quran. That's the Quran right there.
Okay, but you said the Quran said 24, and the Hadith says 124,000.
Yeah, in total.
So I'm going to listen to what the Quran says and not go by what the Hadith says. Just out of curiosity, how many Hadiths are there?
How many Hadiths are there? What do you mean?
Were there altogether, all the weak ones and all the false ones? How many Hadiths were there?
Thousands,
man, like hundreds of thousands. Yeah,
hundreds of thousands. So here we have hundreds of thousands of Hadiths, hundreds of thousands of prophets.
Okay.
It's very contrived to me, but
no. But this is the Hadith I quoted to from the Orthodox Muslim perspective. I know you don't believe in Hadith, but Orthodox Muslims believe in Hadith. So I'm telling you from
understand that I'm not Muslim, so I don't have to believe in any of it. To be honest.
All right, cool.
The problem with my head is that the Quran names the 24 prophets. The Hadiths can't name none of the hundreds of thousands of prophets that it's claiming. That's the problem.
No. It's not about mentioning and not mentioning. Every nation had a messenger that came to them.
Yeah,
but like a principle.
Malud, the point I'm trying to make is this. Miss Rose said we have to acknowledge and understand and all the prophets. If there's 124,000 prophets, I would ask anyone to provide every single hadith or every single teachings those prophets gave us.
They all came with one message. That's the whole point. They all came with one message.
Yeah, but you can't name us one. You can't name us one of these hundreds of thousands. You cannot name us one. That is the problem.
What do you mean? Okay, for instance, Idris, Enoch.
No, we're not talking
one. What do you mean? You want me to name one? You want to play the name game?
1 second. We're not talking 24 mentioned in the Quran. We're talking the hundreds of thousands mentioned outside of the Quran.
Yeah, we don't. That's not needed. I mean, that'll take forever. Why would we mention every single one of them?
Yeah, but if you're gonna make a claim like that, and for me to relate to your scripture as a Japanese or an African, I want to relate to your scripture. So I'm asking you, what was the prophet that was sent to the
So Nino, the thing is this, right? If you're asking us to respect the teachings of the prophets, we should at least surely know the teachings of the prophet as well as who the prophet was that taught it. That's my point. So this is why I can't.
But that's the point. Allah says in the Quran, "We sent to every nation a warner, and they had one message: worship God alone, and not worship
Is there
anybody else."
124,000 nations?
Do you guys know how powerful that
Sorry,
statement
Rose.
is?
Let the gentleman respond. Is there 124,000 nations?
I wouldn't know.
No, there isn't.
So
mathematically, that makes no sense.
Right. There's not enough space in the planet to have 124,000 nations. But anyway, go ahead, Rose.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys a couple of questions, right? I want you to think about
who would you like them to answer to? Who would you like to ask them to?
Anyone who's willing to think about it and then come up with an answer. First question: Can men misguide men? And I'm talking about from both men, like women and men. Can humans misguide humans? Can they get them to do horrible things? Hitler is a beautiful example of this. He got.
The answer is yes.
One man. Okay, so in that way, when God tells humans, meaning don't worship none except God, you don't go and you follow behind people just because they're telling you something, because human beings are not, all-knowing, all-powerful. They don't know anything, but they can misguide others if they have the power, if they have the wealth, whatever they have. So a human being's responsibility is to be conscious of God, taqwa. This is righteousness.
Right, okay.
The major historical events that happened, where wars happened and anything happened, always had to do with people following behind people without questioning.
Ms. Rose, I think everybody in this room understands and accepts your point. Okay, go on, continue.
That's the gist of it right there. You worship none except God.
Right,
what is it?
When you said we should.
That's the next question. Once you realize that humans, you can't really rely on humans to live a righteous life or to do the right thing, especially before the day of judgment, then you ask yourself, how do you worship God? How do you seek God's guidance? And what does it mean to worship God? And that's the question that anyone can, answer.
But then if you say that, then doesn't the Prophet Muhammad fall under that category of being a human being as well then? So why do we, if we're going by what you're saying, how can we adhere to the message of Prophet Muhammad, who was a human being then?
Nobody's disputing he's a human being. We all know that he's a human being.
Okay, can I ask you this then? Okay.
Hold on. I'm going by what she just said, because she said.
I know, but I'm gonna expand on what she just said.
Buddha,
go ahead.
Hold on. Rose just said human beings are infallible. That was the point that she was trying to make, that human beings can corrupt people's mind and we're infallible. That's why we're not all knowing, we're not all this and all wise and everything.
Right.
So I just wanted to throw a little something into the lake and say, but would Prophet Muhammad fit into that same category as a human being? So
he's a human being in the fact that we believe he's.
You believe he's what?
When it comes to religion, it's straight from God. So he just dictates what God tells him to do. So from that angle, he's infallible.
Yeah, but
so I would ask that, expand on what you just said, Nino, and say this. I would ask, prior to the Prophet getting the revelation, what God did Prophet Muhammad pray to?
They had the concept of monotheism. So the pagan Arabs, they had the tradition, because they're the children of Ishmael, right? So they had remnants of the religion of Abraham to worship God and God alone, but they had this culture of idolatry. So not everybody was a pagan at the time. So the Prophet, we believe, he was protected from worshiping idols or any of that stuff. He just lived a normal life, lived according to typical culture. He was a shepherd. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So he didn't worship any other God. He worshiped God alone.
Okay.
Sorry to interject, but I would even go far as to say the Middle Eastern region at that time was not monotheistic in the sense that people were saying, but I would say there's another thing called henotheism, where they acknowledge as a society that there is more than one God, but you choose only to worship one.
That don't make no sense.
No. What the Arabs did back
That's
then, they
henotheistic.
worship idols. They believe in God as the creator, the sustainer,
Okay, but
but they worship idols to get close
No,
to God.
it's a thing. It's a henotheism. There's
Yeah, yeah.
monotheism.
Hello, Mahad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm
Yes,
asking you
sir.
a simple question, yeah?
Yes,
What
sir.
was the name of the god that Muhammad worshipped? God or gods?
They always called God Allah. The Arabs. It wasn't
Really?
never changed. Yeah. It's an Arabic term, Allah.
So at no point within the prophets
They always
life.
said Allah.
Okay,
No,
hold on.
that's not correct because at the sorry, Buddha there at the Kaaba there was 360 gods with 360 different.
Yes, the pagans. The reason they worship idols was because they thought they were sinful and they weren't pure enough to worship God alone straight. So they had this concept of worshiping idols.
No.
That's not correct.
This is in the Quran. Why you're telling me about my own religion? Are you telling me my own religion?
There's another method called henotheism.
No, I'm just telling you from the Orthodox Muslim perspective. You can believe whatever you want, but this is what we believe.
But listen to let me ask you this, okay?
Yeah.
So at no point within the prophet's lifetime was he ever a Christian.
No, we do not believe the prophet was. He just followed. We call it the religion of Abraham. He just worshipped God alone, in his own way. He had no guidance. He had no guidance.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So when he got married to his first wife, Khadija,
yeah,
what religion was Khadija?
The same. They had no religion at the time. They just followed that whatever remnants they had from their forefathers.
Followed them. Whatever, listen to me. If you don't know, just say you don't know. You're not sure.
Bro, yeah? She wasn't a Christian. She was just she was following whatever. Like she was Hanif. We call it Hanifiya.
Okay, so wait. Let me get this right. So her uncle Wadaka was a Christian, but she wasn't.
That's odd, isn't it?
Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Yeah.
Oh, Khadija before she.
Unless you can bring me proof, you can give me proof if you want to prove that she was.
My friend, I'm not trying to give you proof. I'm just asking you a question because I don't know. And like
I just told you the answer. I told you she was we call her Hanifiya. She was a monotheist.
So, I'm trying to understand here. Muhammad, is that his full name?
Yeah, Muhammad ibn Abdullah, the son of Abdullah.
Oh, hold on. So Muhammad Abdullah.
Yeah, the son of Abdullah. That's his father's name.
And what's the full? Is that the full name? Yeah.
Yeah, you can go through his whole list of lineage.
And is that the name that he was given at birth?
Yeah.
Are you aware that Abdullah means the slave of
Allah?
At birth, 1 second. At birth, his parents knew he was going to be the slave of, so they gave him the name Abdullah. Is that correct?
No. His father's name, like I told you, the Arabs called God Allah. They had this concept. They knew who God was.
Yeah, but Abdullah means slave of.
Slave of Allah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. At his birthday, his parents gave him a name, slave of.
No. His father's name is Abdullah.
Right.
So his last is Muhammad, son of Abdullah. That's how Arabs and Jews, they go by their last name is the son of their father's name. That's what they.
So let me just finish my trail of thought, please. While I kiss. So what did we say? We said that Wadaka was a Christian, yeah, of sorts.
Yeah, Ahl al-Kitab, yeah.
But he was not. But Wadaka was not.
Wadaka was a Christian, yes.
Right. Okay. Wadaka was a Christian, and Khadija was not a Christian.
To my knowledge, yes. If you have proof that says otherwise, go ahead.
Listen, brother. I haven't got no proof. I'm just trying to use deductive reasoning here. Okay. So what are you saying? Wadaka was a pagan?
He was a Christian. He followed whatever remnants he had of the Bible and Christianity.
Khadija was a pagan.
No, she was not a pagan. She was a monotheist. She was a monotheist. She followed whatever the remnants they had from their forefather Ishmael. Because Ishmael, he had sons. Monotheism, the religion of Abraham. Islam.
Yeah, okay, so no, it can't be Islam because Islam didn't exist at that point. So
no, she was a Christian.
Right,
the concept of Islam
Khadija was a Christian.
Well, we've got two conflicting stories. The lady says it's Christian, and you're saying monotheism.
Please provide your proof.
Okay, the most likely narrative that would fit is that she was Christian.
Exactly. So she was.
Do you have proof for that?
But hold on, my brother.
Go look this up.
Think of it logically. if her uncle was a Christian, then she must have been a Christian. Moreover, you're saying she believed in a monotheistic type of God, okay? You can't put a name to it. Can you put a name to the God?
Allah, like I told you, this whole concept, they called God Allah before Islam
Right.
even
So
happened.
what? So if that be the case, when the
The proof of
prophet,
that, the Prophet's father's name was slave of Allah.
hold on, wait,
And we,
listen.
yeah.
No, it doesn't make sense, because when the prophet came to her and said, "Listen, I just had this experience inside the cave," she didn't say,
Yeah.
"Oh, let's go to the pagan, sorry, let's go to the monotheistic priest or rabbi or whatever." She went to a Christian because she held the Christian value higher than anybody else's. Why would she go to a Christian if she was of any other religion? So the lady is actually, in my opinion, right in what she's saying. She was a Christian. So Khadija had married before. What did she not? Right. So she was married twice before. What kind of wedding ceremonies did she have? Where did she get married?
I have no idea. I have to look in the history for that.
No,
Okay.
but you have to be fair though, Buddha, though. Like,
Yeah.
Christianity, early Christianity is not the same.
Oh, 100%.
I didn't say it was.
completely
modern
different.
day Christianity.
I didn't say it
Yeah.
was. I'm not making
Okay.
that claim. But the point I'm trying to make is this: if the Prophet married Khadija, and we use the word married, I'm assuming that there was some sort of ceremony or some sort of religious.
Like I said,
practice.
okay, so
Hold
I
on,
just
my
researched.
friend.
Yeah. All right, go.
Finish.
Yeah.
So there must have been some sort of religious ceremony to kind of make the marriage religious, yeah. So if Islam didn't exist at that point, as we know it today, therefore the Prophet must have married in a Christian manner. So I put it to you,
No.
Prophet
In
must
the
have
in
been
the
Christian.
Arabian Peninsula, they had this concept. Since they're the children of Ishmael, they had a tradition that passed on generation for generation. This was called Hanifiya. Hanifiya is basically it's basically Islam without the Quran. Basically, the Quran, the rulings and all the intricacies of the Quran. The same concept of one God, only worship God was what they followed, but they didn't have specific guidance. They didn't have the ritual acts that the Quran came with. You understand?
So yeah, I understand.
Not every
So
yes.
the tribe of the Prophet were Hanafiyas, yeah.
Not all of them. A lot of them, most of them were pagans. That's why we believe God sent Prophet Muhammad to warn them and to change them. And that's why a lot of his family members fought him because they were pagans.
All right,
and they said, why are you splitting our forefathers up, and why are you causing us troubles?
Can we ask Gabs, are you there? Can you jump in and chime in a bit?
Oh, you could ask me.
Ask who?
Me, baby boy.
Oh, okay. Oh my life.
What is that?
I was just about to boot you out of this thing. But yeah, go ahead, Sophie. Please tell us what you think.
Shots fired, baby. Shots fired. Oh man. Hey yo, it's so good to be back, you know. Jeez. Hey, how's it been? How's it been, though, family? How has it actually been? So yeah, I would say, you know, Buddha and Jesna would have come to the most probable conclusion that Khadija was actually a Christian or from the Christian faith. We see that members of Waraka and, of course, Khadija was of some type of biblical persuasion. We can see by the test that she actually done on Muhammad to see whether it was an angel or not. Quite clearly she's familiar. It's only within inside of the three, Abrahamic religions do you have the concept of angels, full stop. And she's done some type of test that kind of lets you know it's of that persuasion. She's also have servants who were Christians who were telling her about angels over Muhammad and so forth, and she wanted to know if he was the right man for her, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we can see that there was like an overarching Christian theme, even with the husbands or the previous relationships that she had and the children that were born. It was of a very Abrahamic faith or Judaism, Christianity type of persuasion, type of names, should I say. So, we can see that quite clearly. I can't tell you that, oh, it says clear that she was a Christian, but there is no other evidence to support, other evidence that supports anything but she being a Christian.
Like I said, we Orthodox Muslims say she was a Hanifi. Hanifi, which is basically what
If
was
she was
passed
a
down
Hanifi,
generation from Ismail to
okay. Could you
the
could you
Quraysh.
could you name who in her family or who taught her Hanafiya?
Who in her family?
Yeah, who in her family or who taught her Hanafiya?
No, this was passed down generation from generation. This was their culture. They had this from.
No, it
This was
wasn't.
well known.
It wasn't passed down from generation to generation. If you go and read the Sirah literature, there was only 4 individuals that broke away and actually participated in the Hanafiya, and the 3 of them actually converted to Christianity. So again, I'm going to ask you, who in her family or who taught her Hanafiya?
Sugar.
I would have to do research for that, but my according to my understanding, they had this culture, this Hanafiya religion, or this understanding.
Mm-hmm. So
Can you guys divide
I could be wrong though. I mean,
Yeah.
but to be honest, it doesn't really matter. When Islam came, she accepted Islam regardless. So it doesn't really change anything.
All right.
So what does it mean when someone is a Hanafi? Or Hanafiya?
Hanifiya is basically just worship Allah, like the religion of Abraham, just worship Allah alone. But they didn't have any ritual actions that they followed. Like they didn't have no salah, no nothing like that. They just followed they didn't worship. They abstained from worshiping idols, and that's pretty much it.
Pardon you? I would suggest do some research on the Hanafiya. Okay, do some research on the Hanafiya. There's one.
Is there more to it?
Yeah, of course. All right.
Could you please enlighten me then?
Yeah, the whole concept of salah or praying, your prayer rituals, comes from the Hanafiya. Your whole concept of everything else that you have in Islam, i.e., the majority of your pillars, is coming from Hanafiya itself. And
understood.
Let me continue even some more. Those people during the lifetime of the Prophet all thought that he was a Sabi or a Hanafiya, basically because he was reciting the mantra of Al Hanafiya or Sabian or the Sabians, which is La ilaha illa Allah. That's something that the Sabians were doing at the time, and they were like, this guy has converted to Sabianism. So
yes.
All right. So the same.
Yeah, you're right. 100%.
Muhammad literally adopted something that was already pre-existing. All right. Just throwing it out there, family. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I'm not. I never said the whole concept of monotheism didn't exist. It existed for sure.
Mm-hmm. And and same with the salah and the actions. That is.
And like I said, we never claim as Muslims Rasulullah, Prophet Muhammad came with something new. Like we never said that.
That's right. I know. Because Islam is really just a nice combination of Sabian or Kemetic or Hermetic philosophy with Christianity or Judeo-Christianity.
So just to finish my thought, now we've established that Khadija was a Christian of sorts. Okay, if she was to get married to somebody, would she be getting married in a church or would she be having a Christian type ceremony?
Yep, Christian type ceremony.
Okay,
it's possible.
Well, my friend, you've gone from being possible to like possible now. Okay, so would it be safe to assume that the Prophet must have engaged in the Christian ceremony to be married to her? So therefore, he must have been a Christian of sorts.
Very, very possible. Very possible.
That's the point I was trying to make to you, my friend, and everybody else on the panel.
Oh, sugar. We're getting into this tonight, baby. So what you guys saying in the comment section? I can't see any love, man. Where's the love at? Some black eyed peas. Where's the love at? How are you? Says panelists, suffice to say, we are all one big family, lost in these various sacred transcripts. Everything is everything. There is no one religion. Shouts out to my queen, how are ya? Up in the building with us. All right, so where are we jumping to right now? Because I'm hearing that we've been jumping from topic to topic. Let's see if we can get this organized. I'm not too sure how much longer we're going to be on here for. But I don't mind. I've got some renewed energy. I've just eaten some food. I'm feeling good right now, So where are we going?
How many pot noodles did you have, Kalam?
Oh, mate. I actually, it was bangers and mash, actually.
Lord have mercy. All right. I think Gabs wanted to touch on the Zachariah Sitchin thing. I don't mind doing that.
Oh, sugar! I thought you was gonna say Zachariah from Speaker's Corner.
No,
Hell no.
I wasn't. No.
Stitching. Nah. I'm not. I just wanted to acknowledge that I knew I knew what the girl was. What's her name? Jesna.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So what we saying, baby? Where we going now? Where we going, man? I'm seeing you lot keeping quiet. Miss Southeast up in the building. I see you, Queen. I see you. Did Muhammad steal Nestorian Ebionite concepts? Nah. More like Ethiopian Christianity. Kalam is hungry intellectually and spiritually right now. Yeah, I already know. Are mythical Greek creatures real? Depends on your perception, right? It depends on your perception, but literally, nah, they're not real. All right.
Kalam, I want to ask you a question to see if you have knowledge on this. You might be able to give me some advice. I just wanted you to tell me, do you think the story of Musa and Moses is based on Sargon of Akkad?
There is, how can I put it? There's some convergence, right? The whole basket into the river and so forth. I would say in constructing these stories, the authors would have taken, how can I put it, concepts that's already found within their literature. Meaning, if you're a very well-read person of the 3rd or 4th century, or however long prior, and you're used to these types of stories, it's just around you, you would implement it in constructing these stories. But I can't say it's completely based off Akkad, though. I can't say Sargon of Akkad. I can't say that, but I would say that there is striking resemblance.
There might be plagiarism there.
Plagiarism is such a very harsh word. I would rather say influences. There could quite possibly be some influences of the Far East into the Moses story.
Okay. All right.
But I couldn't say for sure, for certain. Like that's like a deep analysis.
True. All right then.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
No problem.
Can we cover more on symbolism within like religions and some of the examples that you can give?
Be specific. Let's get it. Gab's joining as well, man.
Can we talk about sort of the symbolism within Christianity? Symbolism within Christianity.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I just went to go and get something quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me ask you. You know what? That's a good question. Let's do symbolism. Can I ask you something, Kalam? Within the Kemetic philosophy, do you guys utilize the swastika?
Nope.
No. Okay, that's interesting. Ooh, because it permeates through all other religions. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the Eye of Horus?
Mm-hmm. What would you like to know?
How, like, I've looked online and it says it's related to the pineal gland, and then there's something to do with like melanin that's related to it. I'm not quite entirely sure how it links.
Okay, so I think all of that is like New Age stuff. So I'm not going to speak from I refuse to speak from a New Age perspective. I'll rather speak from what the text actually says, right? And the text doesn't talk about no pineal gland. It doesn't talk about melanin or anything of that nature. That's a New Age interpretation of the Wajet or the Eye of Horus, and they've now superimposed it into what Far Eastern cultures call the third eye, and they've created their own spin on it. And I would say it has nothing to do with that, as far as I'm aware of. It has everything to do with the concept of Yeshua. Actually, it has everything with the concept of Jesus. It's if you were in ancient Egypt or Kemet, or even if you was Coptic, right? It is literally the root of the name Moses. It's the root of the name Joshua, or the root of the name Yeshua, who is Jesus. It's the root of all of those names. And the root is called wajeh or ushe, which literally means to be saved from something, or to be whole, or to be made new, or to be renewed, basically. And that's what the concept is about itself. It's the whole resurrection / being drawn out / being saved from something and being made whole.
Wouldn't it not make sense because it's a symbol of an eye? Like when you talk about an eye, like I think like in physics when we learn at school, you know, when there's a projection that happens, there needs to be light, and then there's an image that's reflected on it, and then when you see that image, you have like a clear picture. That's where the idea of a clear picture comes from. And then you come from an understanding. Wouldn't it not make sense that it's the symbol of light? And Horus, like every single Egyptian god had like an attribute that made them special, and Horus had amazing eyes, so you could say it makes sense that it's a symbol of light, truth, wisdom.
You could stretch it like that. I'm not going to say you can't stretch it like that, but literally that's not what it means. It just literally means to be made green, like the root. Okay, so you got that, but the root of it is waj. Okay, waj is like a papyrus plant or some type of plant which is green, and it's also the color. Like if you want to say green in Kemetic language or Metanetra, you say waj basically, but it means like to be green, to be whole, to be prosperous. And then obviously the derivative, which is ushe or washe, is literally to be saved from something or to be made whole. That is what it really, really, really means. Okay, everything else is like a new age interpretation on it.
Has anybody else got like any other questions about symbolism?
Dun, 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 dun. Why has the room gone quiet soon as I arrive?
Yo, Kalam, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Where are we? I'm going to try and post something in the back chat. Ever butchers.
All right, let me butcher. Uh-huh. Let me know if you've posted it. Okay, yep, you've posted it. Uh-huh. Yep.
Does that not fall under the Kemetic?
Nope.
No?
Nope, nothing there is Kemetic.
That disc is not Kemetic, no?
The disc.
That's that idol, that piece of pottery.
I'm zooming in now, but nah, that I don't know. I don't know what that is. It's not clear, but it from first look, it doesn't look Kemetic at all. No.
Phasetos disc.
Yeah, that's like Mycenaean. It's Mycenaean. If it looks like Mycenaean, what is it? ABC, whatever it's called. Which I've seen before, and it's pictographs on there. But it's not Kemetic as we're talking about Kemetic.
Yay! It's interesting that it's not though, because if you look at the two swastikas, there's the lunar one and there's a solar one. So I would have thought, being so closely associated with Kemetic, the solar and all that, I would have thought you'd have some sort of variation or something alluding to that. But interesting, nevertheless.
So yeah, what would be the closest thing? We will have like an eye, like the two eyes, a left eye, a right eye, and that would be the closest representative of the sun and the moon, and the duality of it. But the whole shape of the of the swastika, we don't have nothing like that in Kemet at all.
Interesting.
Can I ask the panel what there's that tan guy, do you know when people were asking him why he's got a swastika on his face on like in speaker's corner? Was that because he said that there's something like a deeper meaning behind what the swastika is before the Germans came over and like flipped it and made their own like interpretation. Like what do people know about that? Because I've looked into it and it's apparently a really ancient symbol, and I'm not really quite grasped understanding without having it to associate it with Adolf Hitler and the Third Reich and superiority.
Well, Tan was a very smart guy. He knew that the swastika goes back within Hinduism and Buddhism. And in fact, if you go into Hindu temples in the UK, don't be surprised if you see a swastika symbol. But he knew that most people in the park wouldn't know that and would automatically assume that he was supporting the Nazis. So that's why he did it, to trigger them. But I don't know, they are, okay, Buddha's just put some more information in the chat in regards to the swastika.
Yeah, so the reason I say this is that I in fact have a tattoo of a swastika, and again, it's quite important. It's quite an important symbol within Buddhism and Hinduism. In fact, every single Indian deity, if you look on their foot, you will find a swastika. If you look at any statue of the Buddha, the actual real Buddha, not the laughing Buddha, you will find the swastikas tattooed to his foot. So it permeates through every single religion, even the Islamic religion. If you look at the picture I've posted in the back, you'll see there's an Islamic swastika. There's also a Celtic one, a Greek one, a Jewish one, a Hindu one. Yes, it goes on and on and on and on.
Buddha, it's funny you say that, because that the swastika's on the foot, because I think from what I learned, from what I understand, the swastika represents the revolving man, so motion, so mankind, man in motion, forever moving forward. So hence why it looks like it's a disc that's spinning, and obviously it being on the foot represents moving forward.
So the earliest depiction of a swastika, excuse me, the earliest depiction of a swastika on a cave wall was to do with the universe. So the swastika, not the universe, the Milky Way. So if you look at the Milky Way, it's kind of like revolving in a certain direction. So you see the swastika is more or less the same sort of direction. But as time went on, it kind of symbolizes the movement of the sun. So the sun goes from season to season. So you have summer, spring, winter, etc., etc. So it symbolizes the movement of the sun through the seasons, and that's typically what it was used for in ancient American, like a Native American type things. But yeah, there's so many meanings for the swastika. Each religion has a different outlook on it, but generally it's a sign of good luck. And the reason Hitler used it was because it's such a powerful symbol. It gives you, like power over your adversaries and all that kind of stuff.
If I could jump in real quick, because as I see it, because I grew up in the Sikh tradition and we never used the swastika, but I found out later that it's quite prominent within Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism for different reasons. But in terms of the Nazi appropriation of it, it was something related to something called I believe it's the Aryan invasion theory, basically, that the Aryans came from Europe and they came into India and they basically, introduced the caste system and, onto the people and things like that. But this has all been debunked, but it gave the Germans a sense of their racial superiority. And so they, appropriated the swastika from that. But this invasion theory has been proven false now. And it's actually the other way around, actually. So
in actual fact, TJ, you're absolutely correct. And
yes.
The interesting thing was this. So Hitler Hitler wanted all his archaeologists to go out to certain places to get certain artifacts. So the Spear of Destiny was one of them, and he sent people to Tibet and all these different places because he was an occultist. The Nazis and the occultism was quite big. So he sent an archaeologist to India to prove his Aryan theory, which you just explained. And the archaeologist couldn't find anything. The only thing he found was a piece of pottery. So rather than go back to Hitler and say, I couldn't find anything, and if he would have done that, he'd probably got executed, he took this piece of pottery back and said, yeah, you're absolutely right, mein Führer. Look, this is the symbol of the Aryans. And, so this kind
and
of...
also I think the Aryans also used, they appropriated, I think it was Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy as well to sort of inspire their racial theories, even though Hitler was against nationalism and socialism and anti-Semitism, which is quite funny. He's probably one of the most misunderstood thinkers of all time. But I think it also came from, I think that they appropriated his, his whole philosophy, like the concept of like the Superman and things like that, and, put it into their racial theories, which was completely off base in my view.
Well, do you know what? I read Nietzsche years ago, and I think he was he wasn't far behind Hitler in some of his views, I would say. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about nationalism and socialism, I mean, that's what, the whole Nazi, acronym, which he hated socialism. He said that if I remember his quote correctly, he said, "Who do I hate most of today's rabble? It's the socialist rabble. These people that cry for equality. He said, don't make equal what is unequal, basically. So, and he hated Germans in general. Actually, he even went so far as to claim that he was Polish, which is quite funny, in my view. But I mean, Hitler had his own thing going on, so he tried to appropriate multiple stuff and try to mix it into his racial theories.
Definitely. What about who was asking about the symbolism? Was it Jesna?
Yeah, what's up?
Do you have any symbolism within Islam?
There's loads. There's a symbol of what appears to look like a star and a crescent, which I think that's the most prominent one, and the green dome.
And the what? The green dome?
Yeah, so there's the messages, so there's the green dome, and then there's like a pole, like a tower next to it, and at the top of the tower, not the top of the tower, so but the top of the dome, there's a crescent and a star.
Is that where they call the azan from? Yeah.
The tower, yeah, the towers.
Yeah. Okay. What's the purpose of that symbolism? What does it represent? The moon and the star.
Well, it's not necessarily the moon and the star. It's actually the color green. So it's not Islam as a sense, but in the ancient time, people believed that every single planet had a color. So even to this day, we say that Mars is the red planet because it's red, right? And then we had the color.
So hold on, Islam knew that the planet Mars was red?
No, the ancient people living in Arabia and across the world always assign colors to planets.
Yeah, I understand that bit, but how did they know the planet was red?
No, they just assign colors to it. It's like a code. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
And
yeah.
They called Saturn the black planet, basically. And they called Saturn the black planet because they all understood that it was, I don't know if it's necessarily true, but it's their understanding that it was the old sun, and after such a long time it eventually became the way it is. So they always assigned planets, and the color for Venus was green. And in the morning, the Arabs at the time, they understood that if you look at a certain time in a certain time of year, that you can actually see through your naked eye planets.
You can see Venus. I think it's during the late autumn. You can see Venus.
Yeah, early in the morning, right?
Yep.
Just before the sun comes up, and
Yep.
that's the crescent. It made a crescent symbol. So we have to pray early in the morning, just before dawn.
Why?
Because I don't know, honestly. To be honest, we pray early in the morning.
All right, so yeah, so
I
basically
think
that
somebody else was a bit more knowledgeable.
yeah, so basically that crescent moon was basically invented by the Ottoman Empire, pretty much. But it does have some type of significance, because when we for instance, the Muslims go by the lunar calendar.
Right.
So when the crescent moon indicates a new month. So for instance, when we want to see when Ramadan starts, we usually check for the moon, if there's a crescent moon or not. So if we see the crescent moon, then we start our fast. So there's something important, but it's not really an Islamic thing. It's more like the Ottoman Empire brought that logo.
So in Medina or Mecca, do you find the crescent star?
No, they didn't have that symbol on their flags or anything like that. No.
Okay, no. So if I went to Mecca or Medina today, would I find the crescent moon on any of the masjids over there?
No.
You would. There's a crescent and a star inside the Kaaba.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What? I never heard of that.
Type it on the internet. Type on the internet. Type in the star and the moon inside the Kaaba.
Okay.
Yeah, there's footage of it on YouTube.
I highly doubt they would take a video inside the Kaaba, but
I don't think the person who filmed it was supposed to do it.
Yeah.
But they had their smartphone with them or something, and they were just filming inside the Kaaba.
Interesting.
Are we sure? Is that really the Kaaba, or is that some fake thing?
Yeah, trust me, I know how the Kaaba looks. It's pretty empty. There's like nothing inside.
Okay,
It's just marble floors.
So let me ask you this: this color green thing, that sounded very interesting. Could you like expand on that a little bit? So far we've learned that Venus was the color green, and so the top of the masjids are painted green. Is that right?
The dome. So the dome, you know, like the circle thing.
Yeah, the dome of the Prophet's mosque is green.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's green, and it's in association
With
of
the
what
planet.
the ancient. Yeah, green is associated with Venus.
And what's the significance of that? Because that's interesting. Because here we have astrology melded in with Islam. I'm trying to find out what the significance of Venus is in Islam.
I don't know. That's a really good question, but
well, maybe
yeah,
Mahad, would you know? Mr. Mahad, are you there? Okay.
Yeah, one second.
Okay. Kalam? Rose, anyone?
Yo, well, go on, my G.
Yes. 1 second, please. Thank you.
Do you guys know what the association with the planet Venus is with Islam?
Venus and Islam.
There's some astronomy guy in there.
Yeah. You don't want me to get you don't want some of these questions you don't want me to answer, you know.
Brother, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I do, because I'm drawing my own conclusions, and I just want those conclusions to be verified.
Okay. So, technically speaking, like, you know, these people dealt with a lot of, or these ancient Arabs dealt with a lot of astronomy. Like the brother who mentioned earlier on to say that there was a star. What did you not say about inside of the Kaaba?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, inside of the Kaaba.
Is that true?
Yeah, there is a door. It's basically a door that leads upstairs on top of the Kaaba, basically. And it's basically gold. It's got like a gold pattern of a sun and a gold pattern or silver pattern. I can't remember if it's gold or silver pattern of the moon disk, basically. And it leads upstairs, basically, because the Kaaba, you know, was used for astronomy. It is based upon like southeast, north, and west, and you know, you could. It's basically like a nice little astronomical site. And you know, the ancient Arabs did used to identify certain idols with the different planets, whether it's Mercury, Mars, Venus, Saturn, etc. The whole green thing, I don't know too much about the green thing, but there is some connection with different planets, and of course with different like Pleiades and different star systems as well.
Right. So what I'm hearing is now that the top of the masjid in Mecca is painted green to acknowledge Venus, which is known as the green planet. And you're supposed to pray early in the morning when that planet's visible.
Nah, nah. Never heard of that one.
I don't know.
That's completely false.
That one.
Wasn't that what the lady just said?
I would say,
yeah. With all due respect, she didn't. I don't think she knows.
I wouldn't say she's wrong. No, I wouldn't say she's wrong. Okay. I would say the whole green stuff I don't actually know about, but in terms of praying, that is something that is spotted in the first thing in the morning, right? That's why we call it this. We call it Lucifer, Lucifer, the son of the morning. All right, that is literally the sun in the morning, the brightest, so-called star, which is really I think it's Venus. I think she is right. I can't remember if it's a different star system.
No, it is actually Venus.
Yeah,
Venus is the brightest. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the brightest planet that appears just in the morning, whilst the sun is rising. So she is correct there.
Maybe this is a Sufi thing, probably.
I don't know about Sufi. It's just actual, like if you go out in the morning, just in dawn before the sun truly does rise, the planet Venus does come above the surface before the actual sun. So yeah.
Yeah, but it has no religious significance. That's what I'm saying.
My friend, it can't be a Sufi thing if the masjid of the prophets dome is painted green. I mean, come on.
No, I mean they could have painted any color. They just chose green. That's what the Saudis chose to paint it.
Because you have to.
I guess they like green, and their flag is green too. The Saudi flag is green, so maybe they like green. They like money,
Okay, so
they probably do.
What are you trying to do here, man? You trying to takfir us? What's going on?
Nah, bro, I'm just saying.
What I don't understand is that according to Islam, no images and idols are allowed. Is that correct?
100%. Yeah.
I didn't want to go there, but you know what?
What do you mean?
What I'm trying to understand is you're going to tell me this is forbidden and this is not allowed. And then when I look within the environment, I find images and idols.
Where?
The star, the moon.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is not an Islamic thing. The Ottomans brought this in. This has nothing to do with actually the Prophet or anything.
But it has become Islamic.
This is an invention. We call it a bid'ah. This is a bid'ah.
No, but the problem is this. You're saying you call it a bid'ah, but it's on every single mosque you go into. So quite clearly, you've accepted it as a bid'ah.
Yeah, those people. That's their prerogative. I'm not denying a lot of Muslims are doing innovation. I mean, you can ask Shamsi. You know Shamsi. Kalam knows Shamsi. Right? You can ask Shamsi.
Every single mosque you go into, every single mosque, there is a star and a moon. So everybody has
not every single mosque, man. Some mosques.
So this is the problem I'm having, my brother. If you're saying images and idols are not allowed, and then when you're looking environment, I'm seeing images and idols.
Fam, can you clarify to me what do you mean by images?
Before you do that, right? Can we just bear witness that there is actually. This is inside the Kaaba, by the way, right? It's literally, this is inside the Kaaba. So those of you guys who've been inside the Kaaba, so you can testify this is literally inside the Kaaba.
I did say there was a star and a moon in the Kaaba. I did say that, and the brother refuted me.
Yeah, look, it's right there. It's right there. Right there.
Can I ask something maybe? It's for example, Sunni, does it have to do anything with the sun, by the way? The word Sunni.
No, it's Sunnah. The tradition follows somebody who follows the traditions of the Prophet. That's pretty much what it means.
Oh, okay. Not like you're a Sunni Muslim or something.
No, it's like a shiny Muslim.
But the color green does also have to do with maybe Al Uzza.
No, I mean like green is. I mean, it's a nice color. What? I mean, I guess they like green. Green is like a color of life, you know, like.
I don't think so because every single thing you have to do, you have to take
kind
into
of diverting
consideration.
them, and I mean, you know, the lady's clearly given her evidence to say each planet has a assigned color. Like I know the planet Mars is called the red planet. Okay, so if the planet Venus is the green planet, then like Earth is the blue planet. What, according to Islam, what color is Earth? Jizna? Or anyone?
Well, we know Earth to be the blue planet.
Thank you. So I knew that, and she's just confirmed that. So if she says to me Venus is the green planet, I'm more obligated to believe her because she's been right twice. Now you try and tell me that's not right.
Yeah, I just want to know where she's getting this from. That's all I'm asking.
Okay,
it's just basic information. Literally,
okay,
like.
Okay.
Basic.
I never heard of this. Ask any general Muslim. They wouldn't know anything you're talking about. Right now.
No, it doesn't have to have a connection.
No disrespect, but I'm just saying.
No, but it doesn't have to have a connection to Islam specifically. I just said generally.
If you're making that connection, then it does. So is it Islamically? It does. You know, Islamically is.
I don't know. It probably does because why would they put it in it? But I don't have any.
In what?
Why would they make it that color? There must be a connection between point A and then point B, which point A would be the Islam, and then point B would be. This goes into even deeper stuff like astrotheology and stuff.
Jeez. Oh man, sister's going in, you know. Al-Uzza. Anyways, family, right? I want to actually close down the show. Okay. I want to close down the show. Don't forget the Shahada and sword. Yeah, green is from Kemetic teaching. Green symbolic for growth. Yeah, growth, life, rejuvenation. All that good stuff right there. So yeah, family, I actually want to close down the show. It's done and over, baby. Yeah, it's done and over. You can't end like that, says academic screeching, you know. You lot, this is 3 hours deep. You lot are fiends, you know. If you lot can have it going on for like 8 hours, 12 hours straight, like other people's channels, you really would, wouldn't you? Jeez. Okay. We're gonna do another like 5 minutes or so, yeah, and then afterwards we're gonna close down the show. Okay, it's coming up to 1 o'clock. Let's do this. So who's up? Who's up next?
I was just checking Discord, and there's a guy on there that was saying that the doors were put in by the Saudis afterwards, allegedly.
Okay.
It was white first, he says.
Okay. I don't know but can we change the topic up a little bit?
Yeah. Has anybody seen Modine?
No. What's happening with Modine?
Today he was at the park apparently, and from what I gather, him and Sophia had a little face-off, and some verbal diarrhea came out from Sophia, and she swore at the Prophet. And Modine, being the gentleman that he is, he had a big bottle of water, so he obviously threw some water. He splashed some water on Sophia's face. She started panicking, and people around him got hysterical, and the police arrested him. So Modine has failed a low IQ test.
Wow.
That's crazy.
You see, what these guys don't realize is, yeah, there's an agenda at Speaker's Corner right now as we speak. It's called cleansing and searching and eradicating the low IQs. Now, Tam fell for that trick. Omar's fell for that trick. Modine has fell for that trick. And the story continues.
The saga continues.
Yeah, the low IQ test. Like today, we had Deep trying to provoke Raspek into a one-on-one fight, but Raspek held his composure there. He was calling him Kafir, and obviously Raspek called him Munafiq. because he was being disrespectful. So definitely there are people trying to draw people out into certain situations.
Hmm.
And I don't
Wow.
get what gives people the right to call another person a kafir when they know that only God has access to people's hearts and knows.
The problem is this, yeah, is that what you have is you have these guys who were, for example, this fella Deep, before he became a Muslim, he was a very nice, well-mannered person, very calm, calm, collective. Since he became a Muslim, I'm not trying to say Islam poisoned him, but whoever it brought him into Islam, they've obviously given him the bad doctrine of Islam, and he's become very jihadi-like. Um, Several times he's saying he's ready to die, Allah Akbar, he's ready to die, you kafirs, you kafirs. So I don't know what got into him, but quite clearly there's something possessing this young man.
How old is he?
He's 20 years old. And
That's it right there.
Before he was a nice young man, and in the last 6 months, since I don't know what has got into him, but suddenly he's on a mission, and the mission is to die a shaheed, and everybody's a kafir, to hell with the non-believers, their blood is permissible, and real rhetoric of a war.
Has he converted into Islam?
But which Islam? There's many types of Islam. There is
No, but has he always been a Muslim, or has he?
no, he converted about 6 months ago, something like that.
Oh my God. Okay. Who's he been hanging around with?
He's been hanging around with various, because as you know, there's many sects within Islam. So he's been hanging around with some people you could say, not really nice blokes, nice chaps you could say. Like I don't know what names you could call them. They go by different names: Wahhabis, Salafis.
Okay.
Taqfidis, we call them Taqfidis.
Yeah, we've got Takfidis, we've got Kawaji, we've got all kind of, we've got all kind of stuff that outlaws that speak his corner. So he's obviously found the wrong crowd. But boy, if you hear the rhetoric coming out of his mouth, you think this is a jihadi ready to go.
What's his name again?
Deep.
Deep, like actual going deep.
He's in deep waters right now. He's drowning. You gotta save this guy, man.
The thing is this, yeah, like he's giving Islam a real bad name because you're walking around and you're just spurting off stuff, calling your own mother a kuffar, you call his own mom a kuffar.
Yeah, but hold on, bro. You know what? I think would it be like safe to assume that he might have a few issues?
All of them have issues, man.
Brother, the thing is this, buddy. Yeah, I mean, how many more times are we gonna give people use excuses for bad behavior?
No, I don't. I'm just saying that the guy has got issues, and that's probably why he's making so much bad behavior.
Because the thing is this, yeah, I see so many times at the pub, people say, "Oh, this guy's got issues. This guy's got issues." Bro, we all got issues, man.
I hear you, fam.
We all got issues, bro. Some of us got bills to pay. Some of us are depressed. Some of us can't get up. Some of us love gambling. You know what I'm saying, bro?
I've got the same problem, bro. I just can't get it down.
Thank you. We got problems, yeah. We all got problems, fam. I don't want to hear that.
All right, family. I think we're good to go now, baby. We're good to go now. All right, we understand that there is a lot of problems when it comes to converting to radical Islam. Okay, when they say kids stay away from drugs, kids stay away from radical Islam. Okay, get some good brothers and sisters from the Muslim faith to be more frequent at Speaker's Corner and let them, safely guide you into an Islam that won't cause you to lose your goddamn mind. Okay.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I would recommend Shamsi. Let's go to Shamsi.
Yeah, but Mom, don't you think it's dangerous for us to buy into that narrative that there is a such thing as a radical Islam?
No, there is. We've been in Speaker's Corner. I would have said a few years ago, there's no such thing as radical Islam. No, I've been around Speaker's Corner. I've been around a lot of radical Muslims to know that yes, there is such a thing called radical Islam.
What about that guy called what's his name again? The one that says that you're just saying Merry Christmas is.
Oh, Muhammad Tawheed.
Yeah, that one. He.
You're talking dick pics.
What?
Dick pics. That's what he's been sending around, isn't it?
What to who?
And you shouldn't repeat slanderous words like that.
Well. When he was confronted on camera about it 2 months ago, he didn't deny it.
Kalam, I think that's a conversation to have.
Yeah, that's an off-air conversation. I'm not in the business of talking about another man's weenie. Okay, so I'm gonna steer away from that. All right, and let me try to drop another something before we actually end the show, because I don't want to be thinking about another man's little weenie before going to bed.
No, but the thing is this, like, if you're gonna say that you're part of a Dawah team.
Hey, no, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. All right, I'm not going there. Let's think of something that's really nice. So yes, Muhammad Hijab, David Wood, the debate was epic to some. Let me find some nice words or choice words to use. Yeah,
that was hilarious.
Yeah, what, the debate?
Yeah, that was a sideshow. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, it was. It really
was a circus.
Rematch.
Yeah, no. So yeah, family tree. I'm gonna shut down the show. We're gonna continue this off air. We're gonna send you guys the link, right? Since we've just changed up the topic, right? So yeah, please join us. Please join us. Hopefully tomorrow we're gonna do something, right? I actually got told that we should start doing like a Muslim Mondays and a church Tuesdays, right? So if we want to dedicate everything to Islam on Mondays and everything on Christianity on Tuesdays, I think that's a good idea.
There has to be some other religions to talk about, no?
Okay, yeah, the Buddhist bank holiday, yeah? Okay.
All right. Yeah, like a day where we include everything. Talk about everything all together.
Yeah.
Judaism.
Scientology, Rastafarian.
And
do we have any Satanists in here?
Yeah.
Satanists?
Who's a Satanist?
Here I am.
Oh, Kalam, man, you're everything, bro. This guy is. Yo, Kalam, were you originally a Muslim? Because you have a Muslim name.
Nah, unfortunately.
Wait, really? What does Kalam mean?
Kalam means speech in Arabic. I think it's an Arabic name. Kalam Allah.
Isn't it not Kalam?
Nah. Kalam, man. It's Kalam.
Nah,
Kalam, yeah.
It's Kalam, but
no.
But you know what?
You're right. Oh no!
Kalam.
I'm around so many Jack the Lad, so you know. All right, Callum, all right, mate, come on, yeah.
Wait, you know what your name means backwards?
Malik.
Yeah, but do you know what it means?
It means
king,
angel.
Angel, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, and also in Hebrew it means messenger. So it.
Oh Lord, have mercy! Oh my!
I don't know. You know his name. His name for speech, right?
Yeah, I already.
Angel.
You know.
He's a Satanist, though.
You're not waiting for certain people to arrive in your lives. I'm here already, baby. I'm here already.
So, what is the main tenets of your faith?
Who said this? Who said
Money is my faith.
Wait. You know, we're the one true religion, baby. We're the one true religion.
You're the illuminated one.
You know, Callum, we should do a show on Freemasons, man.
I could invite some of my Mason brethren in again, you know.
Yeah, we need to do a topic on Freemasons, man.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I don't know.
Oh, I would definitely want to talk about that. That's very interesting.
That
would be interesting.
Type in Titans TV Freemason, okay?
Oh, Babylon the Great.
I don't have to sacrifice a child to become a Freemason, right?
No, you guys actually had that mixed up because Freemasonry meant the enlightened one. I think people kind of switched it to become something evil.
Yeah.
I think it also links into the Knight Templars as well, because they were like Masons that made the cathedrals.
If any of you guys would like to join, right, Freemasonry, just let me know. Okay, there's a thousand.
Honestly, I never heard of the Black Freemason.
There's
Does that exist?
There's a £1,000 joining fee. Okay, £1,000 joining fee. So if you guys who are down and want to join me, okay, just quickly drop me a super chat for £500 now, okay, and we'll sort out the remainder on your initiation, okay?
Do you take credit card or no?
As long as it's not American Express, then yes.
Good enough. Thank you.
All right. Okay, and oh wow, we got Dow Digital up in the building. But you can send me images of your debit card and the back 3, the security code at the back, and I'm good with it. Okay.
Well, you're gonna take all of it.
Yeah.
We talked
What if
about,
there's more money in there?
we talked about too much green today, Kalam.
Oh man, listen, I'm in a good mood, you know, baby. I'm in a good mood.
Yeah.
So family, the link has been sent out for you guys who would like to join. Yeah, man, saying, hey, all right. So yeah, you like come in and join because we are going off air. It's been like, you know, amazing with you guys. Always listening in. I was on a nice little journey, and I was playing you guys in the car. Rob, you know, Buddha Bing, Jesna, all of you guys, you know, been keeping me entertained tonight. So yeah, that was Digital. I haven't seen you in ages. He's saying don't sign out yet, you know. I want to see what Dower Digital has to offer. Let me just wait for Dower Digital to come in, right? And then I'll shut down. Imagine this. I'm holding up the show right now just for Dower Digital. That's how you know it's up. That's how you know.
Still, man.
Sweet.
So yeah, as we speak, Speaker's Corner are losing some characters, man, by the day.
Yeah. I haven't really watched the videos for a little while, you know. Properly.
I'm afraid to go there if I ever visit the UK. Honestly, from like the videos I've seen, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like,
no, you'd be all right, man. I mean,
you can, man. We look after you. Don't worry about it.
The thing is, I mean, I go there every week, and I don't find myself involved in any altercation. It's how
I got some videos of you, G. What do you mean? Why are you fronting?
Fam, I want to go. I'm going down south next month, yeah, and I want to know where Speaker's Corner is. I actually fully want to go.
Where are you from?
I'm from Sheffield.
Oh, Sheffield. Don't worry. If you're coming down south, I've got you, B. Where about in South? Can't hear you. Wait, whereabouts in South you heading down to?
London.
Are you staying anywhere in particular?
I'm going to East London.
Oh, East London. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Who goes to East London, man?
My family lives there.
Oh man, man.
Where's everybody else from?
Listen, like if you're
still live or what's the deal?
Yeah, we're still live, man. If you're not from South London, yeah, like you might as well just keep your mouth quiet. Just say
why?
London. London, yeah, best thing. Sorry to my North Londoners out there, but it's not South London.
No, you have to be on the east side because you can't be North London or West London because there's rivalry between them lot.
No, man,
gotta support the East Londons.
West London will just like if there's beef, yeah, they will hit you with like with their what's it called? You know, their handbags or something like that. Okay.
Their gyro checks.
You know. Come on.
I'm hearing some Americans on the panel. So where are you guys from? The American ones.
Which ones? Where's the American ones? Who's American here?
Me. Me.
Too, from New York.
Oh,
Florida.
New York.
Wow, I didn't even know that he's from New York.
And Florida.
Florida, yep.
And
that's a very diverse panel. I like this panel.
Actually, let me ask questions. Actually, how did you not find out about Titans TV? So let me go to Rose first.
Well, initially I was watching videos on Speaker's Corner, and then I, saw your videos, and then I started watching you, and then I went to the channel.
Woo! I like it.
Everything started on YouTube.
I was actually in a pub toilet, and I saw it written on the wall, so I thought, you know what? Let me just.
All right. I got you still. Hey, TJ, what you saying?
Yeah, I mean, my like on my channel, I guess you could say I upload a lot of politically incorrect like material, and one of the related links was actually to one of your videos, I think. So.
Oh no.
I like that. Jesna, how about you?
I don't know. I was just watching Speaker's Corner, and then there was a debate between who's that? Sarah and this Somali boy. Basically, they were debating about the universe and everything, and then one of your videos just popped up in video suggestions, and I just carried on watching.
Cool. I like that. Mahed, what about you?
Oh, I heard your name in the ranks of the, high up in the Freemason community,
Mm-hmm.
I had to pay my respects.
Say nothing, baby. Say nothing. I might just show you the secret symbols. Yeah.
I need some wisdom, bro.
Kellyanne, how about you?
Professor Griff.
Yeah, you going back old school. So are you an old school? You've been here about 2 years or so?
Yeah, I was just listening and I checking out and I didn't react.
What the Professor Griff?
Yep.
How's he associated with you, Kalam?
We done a show with him.
No way.
Yeah.
When was that?
It's got like over 250,000 views, baby. Come on.
When
Where you
was it?
been?
When was it?
About 3 years ago. 3 years. Yeah.
All right.
You know, like right now, you're like, I don't know, Tyus TV's up there, baby. He's up there. I'm just on my sabbatical right now. I'm not even putting in any work or no effort. I've paid my dues, I paid my dues. I might go back at it again. Farooq Abdul Rahman in the comment section says, I saw you on Sarnetta TV. You dig? How many of you guys know that I was out there in New York, sitting down on the couch with Sarnetta? Brother for life. Zariak. Zion Lex. We international, baby. We international. But yeah, I spent enough time waffling on, right? Waiting for Dawa Digital to come on. And he's let me down. So sorry, Dawa. Okay. I did try to wait for you, but I can't see you in sight. So
can you debate Ali Dawa and you?
Ali Dawa wouldn't want this type of heat.
Why not?
He's running scared. Him and Mohammed Hijab are running scared. They actually, I'm being literally honest with you, like they don't want to engage with me at all. Born Rich Club Film says, I saw you interview with Tariq Nasheed. Yeah, baby. So yeah, no, unfortunately, I'm being really, really serious. Like whenever they see me, they try not to make eye contact. They try to walk away. They're not interested in conversing with me at all.
That's because you're an enemy of Islam. That's why.
No, it's because I've showed them up a few times already. I've shown them up for the racism, and I haven't let it go. Like I've pulled you up on your racism, to the point. I think they even tried to block one of my videos that was exposing them with their racism, which is no longer up, but it's on various other channels though.
What's it called on the other channels?
I don't know. It was Ali Dawa doing a speech about Tommy Robinson or something like.
That's just that's disrespectful if they were being racist.
Yeah.
Like would they like belittling intelligence just because you're black or something?
They were just calling a whole heap of us racial names, racial slurs. So yeah, that was going on, which was quite interesting to see. And then, of course, intellectually with debates and stuff, like it's been peak for them. It's been really peak for them. So they don't want to engage. They already know. Their sheikhs from even beforehand told them don't engage with these blacks.
Kalam, can I ask you, what do you think that everybody thinks Speaker's Corner now is more like a zombie corner? It's like people don't really like Speaker's Corner now the way it is. What are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, it's no. Some people do. Some people love it. Like, you know, they love the whole WWE, WWF, and they come down for that as well. So right now we're doing the cleansing process. Okay, we're just going through a cleansing process right now. So we're just letting things slide. Just let it work itself out.
Yeah. I would have to say, like, if you want to keep speakers corner, you shouldn't corner the speakers. Yeah.
You should what? Sorry, the speakers.
You shouldn't corner the speakers.
Shouldn't corner the speakers. Okay.
Keep speakers corner.
Yeah, I like that name for it.
Mm.
Speakers. It's nice.
All right. So this is what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to shut down the show, right? We're going to go off here. We're going to continue having the conversations. If you guys would like to come on, all you have to do is simply click the link, right? I waited long enough for Dawa Digital. So just click the link and we are going to continue our conversations. You know, one of these days we're gonna show you how Quran gets others to take their shahadas, and we shall soon see. All right, we shall soon see a couple people convert. But family, peace and love, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Oh man, yeah.